One. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal, as I get my devices going. Busy news day. Very busy news day. I'm sure that most of you are aware that there has been an attempt on the former President Trump's life. At least that's what the FBI, at least that's what the Secret Service is stating, that there was indeed an attempt on Trump's life. Not only is this historic, because there's only been 9 attempts on the lives of U.S. presidents in our history. There's only been 9. Only been 9. Former President Trump, yesterday's attempt was a one. The second attempt on former President Trump. So we're really going to get to the meat and potatoes of this, because we're going to be tackling from a standpoint of how does one former president acquire 2 attempts on his life in a span of 2 short months? Not to mention the idea that it appears as if he was fairly well exposed, certainly in Pennsylvania with the 20-some-year-old climbing on the roof. And now here we have someone on a golf course. So we don't normally go down the path of conspiracies, but do you believe there might be something at play? Maybe someone wants to have this election decided before the election comes up? 2 attempts in a span of 2 months. Keep in mind, George W. Bush, former President George W. Bush, initiated what turned into a damn 20-year war. Many suggest that as many as 1 million folks lost their lives in that war. Talk about the Iraq War and how long that went on. Then you got former President Barack Obama, the first African-American president in U.S. history. Everybody was suggesting, particularly in the black community, they're going to kill his ass. No way in hell he's going to survive a whole term. Might not even make it through the first year. Yet both Bush and Obama completed 2 terms, and those men are still alive and well. George W. Bush is fingerpainting right now as we speak. Obama's likely out surfing. So we have to ask the obvious question with Trump. No major wars were initiated. He's obviously not a minority. Why so many attempts on former President Trump? Is there something at play, maybe with the powers that be? Perhaps someone out there is deliberately leaving him exposed. I'll certainly tackle that from the comment standpoint. And like I said, we don't want to normally go down the path of conspiracies, but 2 in 2 months, when there's only been 9 hits throughout history, only 9 attempts on president lives throughout it, and this guy got 2? That is saying a lot. So we'll run it back and forth. We'll talk about this second suspect, which they're having a press conference on it right now. But in addition, we always have 2 topics. In addition to this serious attempt on former President Trump's life, and by the way, I'm saying it's a serious attempt because that is what the FBI just stated. I'm watching, Betty, I got the reports going on as we speak.
Thank you, folks, for being here. I appreciate it.
That's the end of the press conference right now, and they stated, we view this as a serious attempt on his life. So the FBI does see it as an attempt on his life. So we will talk about that. As always, we got 2 topics. Now, this second topic might be humorous to some, might be outrageous to others. Once again, former President Trump. Now, many of you folks are likely aware. Now, we're gonna tone it down a bit, but this is somewhat serious, and I do want to talk to you folks about it. Many of you are aware that music sensation, billionaire celebrity Taylor Swift has endorsed Kamala Harris for president. Perhaps it's the childless cat lady comment coming from J.D. Vance, or who knows what the hell else. Well, within the last 24 hours, I believe after the assassination attempt, former President Trump took to his Truth social media page and posted 4 single words with Donald J. Trump attached to it on his own page. 4 single words. I hate Taylor Swift. Obviously, the post went viral. Obviously, the news networks have covered it. And believe it or not, there's a hell of a lot of Trump supporters all over that post chastising former President Trump for doing it, suggesting that you're going to destroy yourself with women. You got Christians groups saying you're promoting hate. Just a host of issues. So we're going to be asking right off the bat also, how do you feel about because Trump could certainly be our next president. Absolutely could be our next president. A president stating that he hates one of his citizens. And when you look at the reasons, obviously Taylor Swift did not attempt to take Trump's life. She certainly did not attempt to disqualify Trump's presidency. What did she do? She simply endorsed the opposing candidate. That is what Taylor Swift did. She endorsed the opposing candidate. And that led to former President Trump to take to social media and post that he hates her. So we will talk about that. I want to get a feel from you folks. How do you feel about that? How do you feel? I mean, a former president, or what could be your current president, taking to social media and literally saying that they hate one of their citizens. She's an American citizen just like we are. So we're going to be talking about those two topics. As always, you know how the program is ran. We are MAGA friendly. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Yeah! Appreciate that, Mustache Big Dog. Thank you. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We're all about free speech here. We go left of Bernie Sanders to him having dinner with QAnon. You can be critical of anybody in the comment section and including your host. That's how free speech works. So if you enjoy that type of dialogue, feel free to follow the program on TikTok, subscribe on YouTube if you will. So going straight to the comments, Trump hating Taylor makes me want to vote for him twice, says Ascot. No, that wasn't Ascot. That came from Keith. Keith Wilson, so I'm assuming you really don't like Taylor Swift either. So simply having Trump state that he hates her makes him a stronger ally to you. Wow, powerful stuff. Sonia Pinkney says nobody is hating on Kid Rock or Hulk Hogan for supporting Trump. That's true. That's true. Kid Rock has said a hell of a lot of things that are critical of the Democratic Party. And we know that Hulk Hogan, at the RNC, also stated that he had enough of the Democrats ripping off the shirt and endorsing former President Trump. Yet Kamala Harris didn't take to social media and say a damn thing about either one of them. How do you feel about Trump doing that exact opposite in regards to Taylor Swift? Sounds like Bill Cosby looks like Faison Love. Somewhere in that there's a compliment. Somewhere in there is probably an insult. But thank you for your input, Max Henry. Thank you. At least he's honest about it. He could be politically correct and just say it's her body, her choice. Ha ha. So at least Trump is being honest about the hatred of Taylor Swift. All right, fair enough. Why didn't he express it before she endorsed Kamala Harris? I mean, both Trump and Taylor Swift have been on the main stage Trump came along in 2015. Why did he wait till now to state he hates her? Did he not hate her before? What say you? I think it comes back to freedom of speech. It's not good for his image, but both have their freedom of speech. Any censoring of such would be treason, or should be treason. I'm with you, Ty, on the fact that it's freedom of speech. I'm 100% with you. But as I always said on the program, speech does not come without consequences. A lot of folks, and I'll go straight to the box after this, a lot of folks suggest that a large portion of America dislikes Trump because they've been brainwashed by the media, because they are not thinking on their own and somebody's telling them how they should think or feel. Well, he is on social media stating that he hates probably the most well-known celebrity in America, or one of them, one of the most successful and well-known musicians, celebrities in America. with a colossal fan base. You don't need to watch the media at all to know about that. I mean, you got to assume there's a hell of a lot of Swifties that follow her page, follow the news about her, and now they've been told that the president hates her. Nothing to do with media brainwashing there. That came from former President Trump. Going to the box, left my ass off. People dislike Trump because of the things he says. Says to Will. Well, you can't argue that he said this. Going straight to the box. One of my subscribers, we always give my subscribers first dig. Stick Darula. Good afternoon, Stick. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. Tap the screen, get the likes up to about 10,000. Stick the ruler. Good afternoon.
What's going on, Tim? How you doing?
Not much at all. We have now 2 attempts on this man's life in 2 months. Is that a conspiracy? Is there some kind of powers that be trying to take Trump out?
Nah, because every time we turn around, it's a regular schmegler Republican, right?
What do you mean?
Yeah, it's a regular schmegler Republican. It's a gun-toting, Second Amendment loving right-wing Republican.
You're saying that both of these
The last
attempts?
guy in the last guy in Pennsylvania, he was a Republican registered pew specialist. They said he was a bad shot, but I'm just saying he was. And then now this guy, he's supposed to be a registered Republican.
Wait a minute. How could this guy be a registered Republican when he was a felon in possession? He got a fairly lengthy criminal rap sheet. He can't be a Republican.
Why you can't be a Republican? Donald Trump is a Republican.
What is
He's
that?
got 34 felonies. Hey, stop. Hey, come on, Tim. We ain't finna do that, man. We ain't finna do that. He got 34 felonies and he's a Republican. We can't do that. Don't do that.
Well,
don't
let's
act like all Republicans don't have a rap sheet. Stop it.
Well, wait a minute. Trump has not been sentenced yet. I don't believe Trump has been. Once he gets
He's been convicted. But he's been convicted. I get the sentencing part yet. He hasn't been to jail, but he's already been convicted. He's a 34-time felon. Ain't nothing I can say, ain't nothing you can say, ain't nothing even President Biden can say to save his ass. He's a felon.
Yeah. So you're telling me that this guy that they captured was a registered Republican.
That's what they're saying. They're saying they're trying to get subpoenas so they can do search warrants and really find out what else he had going on. But the two people, basically all I'm trying to say is they had Trump's back in the beginning. He said or did something that apparently maybe affected them in the sense of made them lose their mind and try to unalive this man.
Huh. I have not heard.
People. It wasn't a Democrat. It wasn't an independent. It wasn't a moderate. It was a Republican twice that did this to him. So I don't really have no. I mean, you riling up people saying people eating dogs and cats and shit like that, geese and I don't have no type of feeling for Trump. It is what it is. You said all the shit that you said. You gotta expect there's gonna be consequences. Yeah. Just because you're rich don't mean you can't be touched. And time after time, they're showing you can be touched, homie. You can be the president of the United States. We already got a couple of presidents that already been either assassinated or shot down.
But even though I get your point about you can be touched, but we're talking about the Secret Service stick. It shouldn't be this easy to get to Trump. I mean, in both cases, it just sounded like we had a bumbling buffoon that got the job. Otherwise, Trump would not be with us.
Well, my whole thing is this. Around Mar-a-Lago, I get that they're protecting him. So they're where he's at. They're not in the bushes. They don't have 100 people around Mar-a-Lago looking for people that's trying to unalive this man. They don't. And again, if he didn't want to be unalive, he needs to just shut the F up, sit back, run a campaign the right way instead of building up all this hatred towards people, especially with the cats and dogs thing. He needs to just chill out. For the one time in his life, he need to apologize. He need to come back and say, you know what, I overspoke. I'm gonna be the number one fact checker, because you know he's number one in everything. Yeah. I'm going to be the number one fact checker. Nothing's going to get by me anymore. We know that's going to be a lie, but at least he said, I made a mistake.
Yeah, but I'm hearing a lot of folks. I'm hearing a lot of folks suggest. I've been manning my social media pages today, communicating with folks on their pages. I got a lot of folks who say that cats and dogs stuff is actually true. That the Haitians are doing that.
Well, it's not the Haitians that are doing it. The cat thing happened with a lady that was from America, that was born here. She had a mental issue and she ate a cat. That's one out the way. The geese thing or the goose thing or the duck thing or whatever it is, the man called, they went back, they looked over the tapes, they looked over, tried to ask different people. It was debunked. It didn't happen. The dog thing, I don't even know where the dog thing came from. I mean, I've been seeing people making posts of their babies eating the dog's ear and all sorts of stuff, making fun of what Trump said, because it's not true. So again, what Trump should do, be his own quality control, come out, tell everybody else, do not speak for me, let me do this. I made a mistake, I spoke too fast, I heard something, I'm not gonna lie.
Wait a minute,
I thought it would give me a lot of buzz.
If Trump comes forward and says he made a mistake referring to people eating cats and dogs, do you think anybody's going to forgive that apology suggested after you said something that wild? If you're saying it's not true, if it's not true like you're saying, would his apology even be accepted? I mean, that community is claiming that they're getting bomb threats.
Well, the thing of it is, he didn't do it right away. So at this point, probably not. But if he would have came back once the moderators told him that was false, and then he went out and did the other interview. Remember, he had the other interview outside of the debate. If he'd have went out there and said, "Hey, I did say something that I want to, detract on and or take back, in a sense of this happened, but it didn't happen the way that I said it happened."
All right.
Just like I just said, it happened, but it was an American. It was a woman that had a mental issue. And
you're talking about a cat, though. He said cats, dogs, geese. So even if we found somebody eating a cat, you got to now find somebody's eating a dog and a geese. He said multiple different animals.
So again, he when he had the chance to correct it, because again, he was the only one. I don't even think Kamala had a press conference after the debate. But he was able to right then rectify what he said. He was able to clear it up, but he didn't do it. Mm-hmm. So again, why would you want this guy who lies to you every chance he gets, who exaggerates tremendously on everything he does, that it's the best? I just said that. He will always say it's the best. Why would you even...
Because they think Kamala Harris lies more, Stick. They think Kamala Harris is a liar.
I don't think she lied in the debate. I think she didn't answer like two questions.
She said Capitol police officers were killed on January 6th. That is a lie. That's not accurate.
So hold on. What happened to the police officer that got smushed by the door? Didn't he die?
No police officer died. There was a guy who died of a stroke the next day. Not toxicology, but the autopsy. The autopsy stated he died of natural causes, and they specifically wrote on there it had nothing to do with injuries or anything sustained on January 6th. No officer died that day. She stated that during the debate. They didn't fact check her.
Okay. Now let's just say that's true, right?
Yeah.
I still want to ask, what happened to the officer that was screaming in the doorway that they were smushing him? I never seen him release him.
People got hurt.
Did he get smushed?
No, he didn't get smushed to death. People did get hurt, but no one. That guy you're talking about that was screaming with the blood coming out of his mouth, he testified at the January 6th hearings.
Okay.
He's alive. He didn't die. She said somebody died.
Well, again, we're okay. So let me just put this out here. I'm a Democrat, okay?
Fine.
Whether you want to say leaning more left, whether you want to say in the middle, I'm a Democrat.
Okay.
But a Democrat is able to tell you when somebody's lying, hold their ass to the fire.
All right.
So at the end of the day, if you mad at this one lie out of 33 that he told, if you mad at that one lie, then you have a problem with actually seeing what it really is.
No, stick. Let me interrupt to say this. If you're going to fact check during the debate, even if we believe one candidate is lying way more than the other, which is what it sounds like you're saying, you don't let the other. I mean, they didn't fact check Kamala Harris on anything. So if you're going to go by what ABC was doing, you'd assume that only people telling lies were on the Trump side, and Kamala Harris is 100% honest, and that's not true.
I would agree with you when you say that, but I would also agree to say that when CNN did the debate and they didn't fact check at all, people were saying they should have been fact checking. So it sounds like to me, if you're the press, you can't win or lose. But at the end of the day, I think that ABC did a lot better than CNN for the simple fact they jumped right on it when they heard bull. They heard bull. They tried to say, okay, this didn't happen. So what if more people would have believed that it didn't happen when ABC said it than the people that did think it? Now you got bomb threats. You got all this stuff going on.
I get,
what one man said.
Yeah, I do got to move it on. I do got to move it on, but I'll just tell you this: it should not be the moderator's job to fact check. If both parties have prepared properly, they should fact check each other. When the minute the mic comes to Kamala Harris, she can say, see, what he just said is not even true. I'd invite all of you folks to go on Google, Bing, DuckDuckGoose, whatever you use, and you'll find out what my co-partner, or whatever the hell they want to call, is lying to you. It should not be the moderator's job to do that. It should be the opposing partner. That should be her job.
And guess what, Tim? I agree 50% of the way. And the reason why I agree 50% of the way is because even if she comes out and said it's not true, having the third party person tell Kamala or Trump that it's not true is more believable than the other person saying it's not true. Because Trump said everything she said wasn't true, and then at the same time she said everything he said wasn't true. So who are you going to believe? You're going to believe the third party that really is just want to hear what both of you guys got to say? But this is my thing. You let people up on your panel, right? Mm-hmm. You let them have their First Amendment right and talk. But at the end of the day, like when you're on a panel like that, ABC, you can't let 7 million people and 100 million people and how many other people heard it hear all this bullshit and let it slide. No, I ain't Fox. I'm not gonna let you say whatever you want to say, especially when it's a lie.
Anytime you make a statement like I ain't Fox, you're pretty much saying we're not necessarily, we're anti-Trump. That sounds like something an anti-Trumper would say. We're not Fox. You're basically saying Fox is, and you're not.
That's not what it is.
That's what a lot of people are hearing, though.
Entertain people. We're here to tell the truth. That's what that means. Not that we don't like Trump. It's just a simple fact. We like to tell the truth. We like to give you real deal stories and real deal news. This thing that he is telling you is a lie. President Trump, we don't have that on record. No city manager or anybody is telling us anything like that.
All right,
that was good information because he was giving us bad.
All right, we can agree to disagree. Appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anytime.
All right,
Hey, you too. Thank you. What I was saying, now you heard his point. I know a lot of you folks agree with my last caller, but I personally believe the moderator should simply moderate in terms of making sure both candidates are following the rules, like not going over their time or, whatever rules they set in the beginning, in my opinion. So they pick out, certain rules they play in, like we're going to stand, we're going to sit, you can bring notes, you can't bring notes. Remember Sarah Palin has stuff written on her hand? Whatever the case may be, one of the rules should be whether or not you can fact check. They should just come out and state that there will be fact checking if you want or no fact checking. Because Kamala Harris got away with things that are not true and they're all over Trump. It does look like they were in the tank for Kamala Harris, in my opinion. Now, as my last guest was saying, well, if you hear a lie, you call it out. I think that should be the opposing candidate's job, is to call it out. I just don't believe that the host, the moderator, should do it, but a lot of you folks disagree. Bro on the other line, Coonan, says the Amazon player. You think my last caller was Coonan? Really? Should I get told I'm doing that damn near all the time? Wow. How so? He's Democrat. He's pro Kamala. Maybe the definition of cooning has changed. Stay focused. The handsome liberal has been able to change my perspective on Trump. Wow. I truly am grateful for this man. He's what America should be. We can have different perspectives without disrespect. Stay focused. Wow, that's a hell of an accolade. I don't know what your perspective on Trump was originally before coming here, but I do appreciate such a response. Thank you. The Amazon player says, can you call somebody that's not delusional? First you said he was cooning. Now you said he's delusional. Wow. I'll see what I can do, Amazon player. Wow. Will G. Bro, I see why you allow only one caller at a time, because that live stream debate you were yesterday was crazy. Yeah, I'm probably going to limit going and participate in other live streams, because yeah, when you got multiple people on, it literally is a scream fest. We like to have, even though I understand there's going to be a wait, but when you are in the box, when you are communicating, it's one-on-one. You're able to really engage in a conversation without people screaming over you. So that's why we do the one-on-one thing. It doesn't matter if you're critical of the host. Doesn't matter if you enjoy the conversation or you think I'm a piece of shit. We don't block, ban, or censor you. That's how it works. And because there's no one competing with you, you get to speak. Ask Google, do people from Ghana eat cats? Then read the answer. Your info is being censored. Anyone has been to Haiti knows they eat cats, says Crystal Lopez. Well, let me just say this. We do have folks from Ghana, since you brought that country up. Thank you, Crystal Lopez, for the super chat. People from Ghana still migrate to America. They don't bring that custom with them. At least I haven't heard of it. People do have customs they enjoy in their own home countries. But usually when they migrate to America, some of those customs are lost. I don't know now, what I was saying in regards to that topic, it's been 6 days since Trump told us that they were eating cats or whatever, dogs and geese and all. There should be a lot of footage out. You got 20,000 migrants. There's no way all of them folks changed their eating habits in the last 6 days. Why are we not seeing plenty of footage of folks showing us how they skin, fillet, cook cats, grill dogs? Why aren't we seeing this? 20,000 folks? There's no way they all changed their eating habits in the last 6 days to hide it from us. You can't find anybody in the last 6 days. We're getting footage of people from other areas, people from other countries showing that they eat. What about in Springfield, Ohio? Why can't we find any footage? Why is it so sparse in terms of footage? There should be a ton of videos out there by now. It's been 6 days. Looking in the comments, Trump is a liar. That's why, says Bandito. Yikes. My main problem with Trump is his failed morals. How can anyone vote for a leader who cheats on his wife because they don't care if he'll straighten out the economy, hopefully assist in ending some of these major military conflicts, Ukraine, Hamas, Ukraine, Russia, Hamas, Israel. They don't care about him cheating on his wife. If you can make things smooth for what's happening here in America, they can overlook that. That's why they are voting for him. Going back to the box. Animals are protected, hopefully, unless they're food, unless they're being used for food. One of my subscribers in the box, Twain 2 Square. Is that Mishi? Did I see Mishi in Good afternoon, Twain. Welcome to the program.
How's it going, man? I'm going to keep this short and quick today, because I know you probably got a lot of guests that want to speak on this.
It happens.
One, well, the first thing I would like to say, really is, I think the Democrats, I wrote this in the comments over at YouTube, but I decided to come over here. But anything, what I would love to see the Democrats do is have someone author a bill banning AR-15s.
It won't pass.
Name it, save Donald Trump's life.
That's slick, but it ain't gonna pass.
But see how many Republicans vote on it. Those who say no, maybe they don't like Donald that much.
That ain't gonna work. Let me tell you why that's not gonna work. Let me tell you why that's not gonna work. If the Democrats tried to use that slick trick, we're gonna try to impose a ban on ARs, or in this case, what happened yesterday was with an SKS. We're gonna put a ban on assault rifles. Let's just say assault rifles, because we don't want somebody else to be victimized like Donald Trump. First thing would happen is Donald Trump himself would say that's not necessary. It's a one-off. I'm not going to take away people's rights to defend themselves, and use me as an example. Don't listen to the Democrats. You can keep your weapons, and I'll just make sure I do what I got to do to stay safe. I think he would do that. So that's not going to work.
Okay, I'll give you that one. Yeah. But it was a good thought anyway.
Nice try. Nice try.
The other thing is, I donated to Kamala's campaign twice.
Okay.
I have one vote, and Taylor has one vote.
Taylor Swift, yes.
So do that mean I have the honor of being strongly disliked by Donald? I feel honored, you know?
If you were a celebrity, if you were a well-known celebrity, you stated what you just did, that I voted, I donated money to her campaign twice, and you bringing up Taylor, yeah, he probably wouldn't like you very well.
Yeah. And one more thing, and then I'll let you go.
Sure.
I thought about on the 2025 thing. One of the things that was authored was the FCC takes over the internet, and the FCC comes under the executive board. Okay?
Okay.
So what would happen possibly if you have too many guests from TikTok, which would be, as you say, Democrats or liberals, and not enough MAGAs, he might have you taken off the air.
You think Trump would do something that radical?
Has he not said he would like to get rid of MSNBC? Has he not said that he would like to get rid of CNN?
Wow.
So if he hears something he don't like, and it's under the executive board, you never can tell.
Wow.
So all you creators out there better think, give this some thought. And with that, Tim, I'll let you go, and I appreciate you giving me a chance to speak.
Anytime. Thank you for coming up. My door's always open to you, Twain. Appreciate it. Looking in the comments, by the way, Russia is bringing back the old hammer and sickle. They're right. Okay, that's part of the Soviet Union, is it not? The hammer and sickle? Getting rid of something he don't like, that's what Democrats are all about. So the idea on my last call was suggesting that Trump, if he became president, would make a dictator-like move by getting rid of MSNBC or other news networks that are critical to him. Triangular Commission, it's a hell of a name, states that it's actually the Democrats that would do something like that. Now, I will say this. A lot of things that folks are saying that Trump will do if he gets elected, the first thing Trump supporters are saying, well, he was president for 4 years. He didn't do any of that. So why are you saying he's going to do it now? He wasn't a dictator the first 4 years. So what makes you think he's going to be a dictator the second 4 years? Well, the same thing could be said for what you stated, the Triangular Commission, is getting rid of something you don't like is what the Democrats are all about. Biden's been president for 4 years, and they haven't gotten rid of any social media pages. We can talk about them trying to pose limits through Mark Zuckerberg, certain information, but they haven't gotten rid of anything. Looking in the comments, Democrats have better things to do besides, does that say waiting AR or wanted in AR? There are plenty of Democrats with ARs. I know a lot of them. Going back to the box, thank you folks for tapping the screen. We'll go to another one. Rita Porter. Good afternoon, Rita. Welcome to the program. Now, this whole Trump getting on the social media and stating, I hate Taylor Swift. Now, I believe this took place after, if I'm correct, I'd have to look it up for certain, but I believe he tweeted out his feelings about Taylor Swift after somebody tried to take his life, which is kind of surprising. Somebody don't try to, implement a second attempt on your life, and you in here on social media talking about you don't like a musician that didn't support you. I don't know. Them Swifties don't play. Well, Moonchild, how many Swifties are above the voting age? I thought most of Taylor Swift fans. Now, I could be wrong. I'm obviously not a Swiftie. And I think most male Swifties are gay. I don't know enough about her fans, but you're saying those Swifties don't play. He's blaming on her so his supporters will attack her. Wow. And I do believe that's happening. I do believe she is receiving various threats from Trump supporters. I do believe that's happening. I'm not gay, says Jose. What does that say? Jose Peñalosa or something like. Oh, you're a Swiftie, Jose? Okay, all right, my fault. My apology. He did it before the attempt. Okay. He's full of hatred. He incites violence, and he learned what he had, and he earned. Wow. You said he stated that he does not like Taylor Swift, according to you, before the attempt on his life this weekend. You follow up by saying he is full of hatred and he incites violence and he earned what he had coming. You really think Trump has done something that's so wrong, so bad that he earned a assassination attempt? That's pretty harsh. I don't know about that. That's pretty heavy. Let me go back to the box. Earned an assassination attempt? Really? Billy Clinton, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Earned an assassination attempt. Wow. I'm having a little bit of trouble with the box, so keep trying this. I don't know why these guests are not coming up. We'll try it again. And the box just dropped again. We'll keep it going. I don't want to bloviate too long. I do want to bring up other folks. A lot of you folks have opposing opinions to yours truly, so we'll try with Z-Pack. Another friend of the program, Z-Pack. Hey, good afternoon.
We're doing so well. Oh, we're doing great. No, listen. Look. It appears, just to get right into it, because I know exactly what the topic is, you don't got to ask me. It appears that the Secret Service actually did their job.
Yeah.
And it appears that they did it better than the last time.
Yeah. They had more assets. Apparently they had more assets. Biden gave permission for the Secret Service to have more assets to protect Trump, and they were in place according to the press conference.
And even after what happened yesterday, he requested more.
Yep. And got approved.
Even probably knowing at that point that it was kind of like because if you look at the headlines, right? The headlines have been saying apparent attempt, okay?
Yeah.
And I won't say the whole word.
Right.
They're saying apparent, and there's a reason why they're saying apparent.
They're not, well, hold on. They're not. I just watched the CNN. It's on all of the media channels, but they just had a press conference about 20 minutes ago. They're no longer saying apparent. They said it was a bona fide attempt on it. Yeah.
Right. My point was they were saying that because they weren't really sure exactly what had transpired. Because what we're learning now is that this man was not in the line of sight of the former president. We're learning that he, was just outside the residence, kind of sitting there like a crazy person for 12 hours, which, this guy was on a famous YouTuber, Gideon is his name, or Gideon. He's kind of a goofball. He goes around and he does a lot of, interviews, or he'll, for instance, just to give an example of the type of behavior, he gets to go into these college campuses sometimes. One time he brought like a typewriter into a lecture.
Okay.
And the professor was like, "Sir, you can't have a typewriter in here." He's like, well, that's what I have. That's all I have. And he'd be like, "But sir, come on, it's 2022." And so he would get out. He does stuff like that. This guy that was at the place yesterday was actually in one of his videos, and he interviewed him. And he was talking about the Ukraine war, and he was saying,
You talking about the potential shooter? You talking about the potential shooter was talking about the war and things like that?
Yes,
okay.
He was in this video, and it is extreme. In the context, somebody said context. Basically, he was essentially like trying to get Gideon to sign this consent form or something to.
So he's just crazy.
Create some sort of a militia.
So he's just crazy.
Yeah, like he's a crazy dude. He was a crazy dude, and you can see it in the video how crazy he is. But it's just so interesting that he was in the video of this, and he was on a college campus, by the way.
So how do you respond? I had a couple callers back that suggested that this guy was a registered Republican.
I mean, there's a lot of registered Republicans that don't like Trump. I mean, it's a MAGA party. I mean, Dick Cheney. I mean, for Christ, I mean, the only person who hasn't come out and endorsed Kamala for some reason is George W. Bush. Just make it happen already. Yeah. Like you feel like he's sitting there like he wants to do it, but he's just like, oh, I'm George W. Bush. I can't do that. Yeah. I can't imitate him. I'm sorry. I got to work on that. But I do think it's bad. Nobody's advocating for this. Nobody's sitting around and saying, this is something we want to happen. I will say this: Donald Trump Jr., when after Paul Pelosi was attacked, said he had his Halloween costume ready, and it was underwear and a hammer.
Wow! And what you're saying, because we were on one of the other pages last night, and that was one of the things that came up is that because folks, I was talking to a bunch of MAGA, a bunch of Trump supporters, and they were talking about how wrong it is that folks are making light in regards to what's happening to Trump. And that is one of the things I brought up and others brought up is that what you're talking about, they made light of what happened to Nancy Pelosi. And everybody's, some of the Trump support, it was a gay lover. And it doesn't matter what relationship they had. Somebody tried to kill the guy.
You have somebody in the chat. You have somebody in the chat who's one of your subscribers who just said he was sleeping with a man.
Yeah, and I heard that several times yesterday, and my response is, it doesn't matter what he was doing in his relationship. Somebody tried to kill him. Okay, just because he's gay, it's okay to make jokes of his death.
Yeah, that's my point. So and this Eric dude, I mean, he's saying, he's taking a victory lap about saying it. Yeah, what is your point? Like, what is the reality? So you say he was doing this. There's no verifiable proof that this was his
love. It's irrelevant.
There's actual evidence that suggests that he didn't know him at all. But you sit there and you say, well, he was sleeping with a man, so therefore it's okay. No, it's not okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter what happens.
Didn't go.
Thank you.
I don't get that. I don't get when it's brought up that Trump and some MAGA made fun of Nancy Pelosi's husband. They start talking about it's a gay lovers quarrel. We're talking about somebody who faced an attempt on their life. It's almost as if they are saying because he's a member of the LGBT community, it's okay to kill him. That's kind of what it sounds like they're saying.
And I think that maybe their side needs to take a step back too and say, we need to acknowledge that we've had some individuals who's done some things, in the past. We're not going to sit here and say that anything comparable has happened to Donald Trump to anyone on, the other side of the aisle, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to sit here and say that didn't happen. We're not going to pretend that it didn't happen, but we're also not going to sit here and pretend like there hasn't been, hate crimes. There hasn't been mass unalivings in schools and things like that based on, you look at Dylan Roof and individuals like that. What are you going to say that's, that's okay? Like, no, we have to. The argument is always, we have to protect.
Well, let me ask you this, but before I'm moving on, okay, you got George W. Bush. You mentioned him earlier. Started a war, Iraq War. Some folks are saying as many as 1 million people died because of that war. You got Barack Obama being the first black president. Folks are saying he wasn't even going to survive his first term. Both of those guys completed 2 terms. They're alive and well. They're healthy. Nobody tried to kill them. Why are they going after Trump so much?
I think you can make, and again, this is not my personal opinion, but I think that as you say things and as you do things, right? Donald Trump wants to be a strong man. He surrounds himself with people like Viktor Orban and Vladimir Putin. These are people who he looks up to. And I think that there's a certain point where, and again, it's not justified and it's not something that makes a point to it. But a lot of this can be just tied back to his rhetoric. And But the other issue, though, is that people are crazy, right? We can equally say that people are crazy. Just because you don't like a person doesn't mean you do that. And none of us on the left would ever justify that for happening. I think that
I don't know about that.
No, I think, listen, I don't, if anybody on my side is saying that that's okay, then I'm not going to agree with them, right? But I think that when you look at his rhetoric, somebody that is crazy, right, could take that as, oh, I got to do this. It's the same thing with everything else that's being done. But again, I will say it for the umpteenth thousand time, I don't think that it is something that we should be doing. Political violence has no place.
Fact.
You know, Donald Trump, though, is a man who likes to be this strong, come out as the strong man.
Being strong is not okay. If you're leading the free world, you should be strong. But they're trying to take his life,
which isn't right. And what I'm just saying is that when you have people that have idiots that have mental issues, sometimes they feel like they have to take it into their own hands and do something. But that's not how you behave as a human being. That's not what you do.
I agree. Last question before I'm moving on. When there was a hit on him the first time, it grazed his ear or whatever, many suggested that attempt on his life almost guaranteed he would win because supporters would galvanize behind him. Do you believe this hit will turn into a net gain of support for him?
I don't think he has support. Unfortunately, I don't think he has support outside of his base. I mean, MAGA loves him. They're not going to move.
Right.
They're not going to ever, move away from him. The only people that support Russia are MAGA. That's it. The Republicans support Ukraine. Mike Pence supports Ukraine. The reason that MAGA supports Ukraine is because Donald Trump can't condone Putin. If Donald Trump during that debate had said that he wanted Ukraine to win the war, or something about Putin, MAGA would have done a complete 180 and said, yeah, we hate Putin. We hate that guy. He's a terrible person.
So they're following him anywhere
because his words matter.
They're following him anywhere.
Exactly. Anything that he says, they believe. They don't have their own opinions. They can't formulate their own opinions. I was one of the first people. And Cindy, in the comments, I have to address you real quick. He doesn't want it to stop. The reason he says I don't want people I want people to stop being unalived is because he is actually saying he can't answer directly that he wants Ukraine to win the war. The simple answer to that question would be yes.
Yeah.
You want Ukraine to win the war.
And you're right. During the debate, you're right. During the debate, he never answered that question. But Z-Pack, I do got to move it on. Thank you for coming through.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. And by the way, Z-Pack, my last guest, was the one that introduced me to Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, and I got to grill him for about a half hour. It's a very interesting conversation. I probably went left because I think most of Michael Cohen viewers thought, they were supportive of him going after Trump, and I grilled him a little bit. Z-Pack will tell you. Will G, thank you for the super chat, says, if you don't kiss up to Trump, he simply hates you. That's in reference to Trump tweeting out or truthing out that I hate Taylor Swift. I agree with that. If you're critical of Trump, and I'm not talking about where you're really trying to destroy his presidency or just if you're critical of him, you're not gonna be viewed or treated very well. I don't know of any Republican that has been critical of Trump that is really respected by MAGA at least. They're respected by the traditional Republicans, but yeah, if you're critical of Trump, you're on the outside of MAGA. That's kind of it. Will G says because they are hypocrites. Okay, I'll leave that at that. And G, because they're communists, can't stand fair democracy. You know, I'm willing to admit I'm getting swamped on this. What is a communist? What is a Marxist? What is a fascist? What is a socialist? Because in America, they get thrown around so much. I'm not quite sure everybody knows what they are. Now, Ed G, I'd have to see where you're referencing it, but I hear folks, if you're on the left, it's almost, if you're leading Democrat and you get involved in political conversations, it's guaranteed eventually that somebody's going to call you a socialist, Marxist, communist, or fascist. I don't care if you're working at the local grocery store. If you get in a political conversation with someone on the right, you're going to be a socialist, Marxist, fascist, or communist. So I don't know if everyone in America really knows what those terms mean. The entire Democratic Party can't be all of that. Looking in the comments, I've never seen Biden post I hate Kid Rock or Hulk Hogan. No, you won't see that. You won't. And you won't see it from Kamala Harris either. Kid Rock has some pretty choice words for the Democratic Party, and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. And yeah, they won't go to that level and attack them. And by the way, it's probably even more of a reaction when you attack Taylor Swift because she got more fans than Hulk Hogan and Kid Rock put together. This is what I mentioned. I'll go back to the box. By the way, I haven't asked you guys to tap the screen. Please do so. Get the likes up to about 35,000. Helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. We are MAGA friendly. MAGA are my preferred guests, but liberals are welcome as well. We get more liberals on TikTok, so that's how the guest thing works out. But MAGA are the preferred guests. Tap the screen. Get the likes up to about 30,000. Trump more grown than you, says Leslie. Well, shit, he's like 30 fucking years older. He should be more grown. If I'm more grown than him, what happened in his life? He should be more grown than me. He's likely to be more dead than me soon. I mean, he's way older. He's more rich than me. He's more everything than me. If you are on the right, you get called a Nazi. I don't know about a Nazi, but certainly a racist. The left throws around racism like crazy. So but at the same time, there are people on the right that are not white, for instance. I don't think the black Trump supporters get called racist. They're going to be called a coon, a sellout, all of the shit that I get called for running a program like this. But the name calling is coming from both sides. I think the only difference is only on the right is it really coming from the presidential level. You don't see Biden and Harris calling people names, and then when folks criticize them, well, such and such called her something first. You don't really see that. Whereas with Trump is engaging in the same behavior that the regular citizens are, such as, sending out a picture of Biden hog-tied in the back of a pickup truck or sending out video of CNN beating on a Democrat. You don't really get that from Obama, Biden, Kamala. You wouldn't get it from Bush. I mean, so Trump is a little bit different on that. To defend Trump, we have to actually compare him to average everyday citizens because there is no presidential counterpart that's doing what he's doing. So, well, Rosie O'Donnell says something about him first, or Kathy Griffin, but there is no president that you can say, well, this person was doing the same thing as him. There isn't any of them. Trump won't denounce anyone if they say they like him. There's some validity to that. Continuing on with the program. Thank you folks that are tapping the screens. 40,000. Let your thumbs not be lazy. A lot of lazy thumbs in here. Whoa, DJ Julio. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Going back to the box. Speaking of which, I did have Dencal in there. Good afternoon, Dencal. Name calling and blaming each other is very childish. It shouldn't come from the White House. I don't like the Marsha. When he started it, I don't, at the presidential level, it should never be an argument of my president can do this because they started it first. It shouldn't be that childish at that level. Didn't Cal? I hate Taylor Swift. What say you?
Wow, that's a really revealing statement from somebody auditioning to become the president of the United States, in which your job is to take care of everybody in the country, regardless if they like you or not. So to call out, especially to call out one specific person, and we know through rhetoric, which has caused some incidents that's been happening. If you know that you have, 300, you have, well, I'll just say for him, we'll say you have 70 million supporters, and you put on social media, I hate somebody, there's a big chance that somebody out of that 70 million people
Might
is
be crazy.
unstable enough to make something happen.
But hold on. Let me ask you, because Crystal Lopez on YouTube says Kamala Harris was on. Now, Ellen's been off TV for a little bit, but on the Ellen DeGeneres show, she's stating that Kamala Harris was on there joking about taking Trump's life. Now, I'm not aware. Have you seen anything like that?
No, I haven't, and I think it would probably be plastered across everybody's TV screen right about now.
Yeah, I would think so. I haven't heard that. I have not heard that.
So I mean, saying how the conversation might have developed on on one of those types of shows, I can't say 400% because I haven't seen it, but I'd almost guarantee you if we saw it that I would say that they're taking it out of context. But I'm not. I don't want to dwell on.
I gotta tell you, it makes my head explode. You can't talk about a president nowadays without somebody saying you're taking it out of context. I mean, you can hit the president could say, the sky's very blue, and somebody would tell you you're taking it out of context. I have never seen that so much, where somebody says something and you comment on what they said, and folks are like, well, I need to see the whole speech. I have never seen that so much.
And that's why this is going to be such a good point as we watch how this story plays out, because there is no ambiguity. There is no other side of I hate Taylor Swift. There is none. There's no taking it out of context. They can't say that we're making it bigger than it really. There is nothing. It is a definitive statement by itself.
Yeah. Now you said, by him saying, he hates her, it's revealing. In your opinion, what is it revealing? What do you think it's revealing for him to say that?
That he has that type of animosity in his heart for people who don't agree with him, or basically don't agree with him. Don't believe what he's saying. To somebody that you're basically, you're in a job interview, to be hired, to tell, to say to the management company, hey, that worker you got right there, I hate them.
Yeah. And that's, I will say, I do find it a bit concerning to have, I don't care if it's coming from Kamala, Obama, Biden, you name it, but to have a president suggesting that they hate one of the citizens of this country, I would first think my question would be, well, what did that citizen do? I mean, is it somebody that literally, took up the flag and fought for the enemy, or did they try to take down, a major, structure in America? The only thing she did so far is voted for the other side, or not even voted, but endorsed the other side. Like, all it takes is for her to endorse your opponent, and this makes you get on social media and say, I hate you.
Yeah, and in that endorsement, she told everybody, she said, do your own research. She didn't say all of my Swifties march on. No. She said, do your research. I have done mine, and I have decided that this is what I believe in. She didn't do any, he can't stand the mere fact that she has so much influence.
Well,
Now I want to flip that whole situation where we were talking about how Trump could say something about 70, say something in front of 70 million people that supported him. Think about it this way. He has now came out and said he hates somebody who has 350 million followers.
Yeah. Well, and you're correct. She didn't tell, you're right. She said, do your research. She didn't tell her followers to go to the polls and vote for Kamala Harris. She told them to go to the polls peacefully and patriotically. And people are pissed off about it. She just said go to the polls peacefully and patriotically. And they don't like it. Why is that?
But guess what? Guess what would happen? If a Swiftie was to try to do something to him, they would blame her and say it's her rhetoric that made that Swiftie do it. They cannot analyze or see the other side of their argument.
Yeah. Wow. So
I was looking at something. I wrote it down.
Before you do that, I did want to address the super chat from Will G. Says Trump wants to be a dictator, and I'm assuming you don't agree with that, didn't Cal? But he says Trump wants to be a dictator. He says he wants the American people to stand at attention for him as they do in North Korea for Kim Jong-un. Have you heard that at all?
Yes. He said that a couple years ago. He said Kim Jong-un, he's a strong leader, and when he comes into a room, everybody in the room pops to attention, and they hang on his every word. He said,
that's got to be a rumor.
No, I swear, it's out there. You can go look at. I hate to keep telling people go look it up, but yes, he's actually said that out loud. He said, I wish. I can't remember the exact word. I can't remember if he said, I wish, my cabinet or my people would, he wants them to do the same.
Yeah, I'm writing a note down. I do want to find that. It stands for Trump like Kim Jong-un. Wow, I have not heard that. Shit. Okay, maybe there's a little bit of dictatorship in the guy. Would it be that bad? How do you feel, though? Do you believe that Americans should be that patriotically supportive of their leader, that we all stand when they walk in the room? Should it be mandatory? Punishable by death?
Well, we do. The military is it's by code and by rule. Yes, the military is obligated to stand up and announce, but
that's the military, and they're not gonna kill you.
Yeah. But no, I don't. Not by the rules of freedom that we live by. I don't believe that we should have to, because we have the right to disagree or disagree. It's not about, we don't have to honor them as a deity because they're a politician. So no, I don't believe that's. No, okay. That's.
I hadn't heard of that one. Wow, I had never heard. I got to really do my research and find that one out. All right, well, I do got to move it on. But before I do, there's been a second attempt on Trump's life. What do you think is going on? Why is this? Because these people could have took him out. Why is it so easy to get to this man? And why do so many people want him out?
I don't think. I know you got to run your show and you got to ask these questions, but I mean, if we listen to the things he's saying, and from my understanding, the guy who tried to take him out was in his camp at one time, and I even heard I read an article that his son gave a interview over the phone, and he said that he didn't believe his dad would go through these types of lengths, but he said his dad was tired of all of the stuff that Trump was doing. And he said he was tired himself too. And I'm just saying, when you go out there and you cause all of this animosity day in, day, this has been going on for, almost, 8 years?
Almost. Well, he came down the escalator in 2015, and he immediately was talking about Obama even before he ran for president. So he'd been in the news probably over 10 years.
Right, but I'm talking about every single day we wake up and wonder what has he. There hasn't been a week since he came down that escalator that we've just been able to live our lives and not worry about what the government is doing. And we're gonna be upset about prices and we're gonna complain about stuff. But every single day.
Sound like you want to make
tired, man.
Sound like you want to make politics boring again. I got to move it on, though, Den Cal. And some other folks have said the same thing. Let's go back to when the president just ran the country and he wasn't in the news on TV every damn day. So we'll see. Or you think Kamala Harris would be? You think Kamala Harris would be like that, kind of laid back? You wouldn't hear from her as much.
I'm sure she will. I mean, there's nobody that can compete with Trump as far as like wanting and needing attention. Some people just want to sit back, do their jobs to the best of their ability, and let people live their lives. They don't. No president should want to control the daily lives of random people all around the country, and injecting yourself into situations, even if they're bad sometimes. Why do you have to inject yourself into situations saying, I'm just trying to bring attention to it? No, you had control. You should have did something. The same thing they were saying to her. Why didn't she do all of this stuff? All of this stuff you're complaining about now, why didn't you do it?
Yeah, that does apply to a lot of it. Den Cal, thank you for coming through.
All right.
All right, and we're going to certainly go to the other side now. By the way, tap the screen. Let's see if we can go up to about 50,000. 50, F-I-D-D-Y. This is uncensored programming. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. You don't have to worry about whether you're criticizing anybody in the program because we allow folks to speak. Whether it's in the comment section or being critical of yours truly, that's how free speech runs. We go left of Bernie Sanders, so I'm having dinner with QAnon. Uncensored programming. If you enjoy uncensored, civilized dialogue from all sides of the aisle, follow the program on TikTok, a subscription on YouTube, if you will. We're here Monday through Friday. Crystal Lopez, thank you for the super chat on YouTube, said, that's my point. Google, Facebook, YouTube is censoring the information for political reasons. That's called election interference. Fact check. I don't know if it's happening in 2024, but I think we can say without a shadow of a doubt it was happening in 2020. I think Mark Zuckerberg has admitted that he was being pressured by the liberals, by the Biden administration, to keep certain things out of the news. So it does happen. However, on a smaller note, which I'm assuming the Trump supporters would probably discount this, but during, I'm trying to see which one of those trials with former President Trump. I think it was maybe the Letitia James case or maybe the Alvin Bragg case. The guy named Pecker from the National Enquirer, he said that Trump was doing the same thing. Now, the National Enquirer can't hold a candle to Facebook or some of these social media platforms, but the National Enquirer is a media platform. And that guy testified that when Trump ran against Hillary Clinton in 2016, the Enquirer was working directly with Trump to put out negative stories of Trump's opponents like Ted Cruz. Remember that whole Ted Cruz's dad killed President Kennedy? They were working directly with the Trump camp to release that statement. Now, Pecker is the CEO of the National Enquirer. He testified that under oath, that they were working directly with the National Enquirer to release negative stories on Trump's opponents, like Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio back then, and favorable stories on Trump. And then once Trump defeated those other Republicans in that primary, they targeted Hillary Clinton. He admitted that. So when we say that the liberals are working with Zuckerberg and Facebook, these are much bigger entities than the National Enquirer. But what I'm saying is working with a media outlet to help you out politically is wrong. Zuckerberg or Pecker, it's wrong. The liberals just work with a bigger media outlet. But that guy testified that Trump was doing it. Looking in the comments, Will G, at the end of the day, Trump doesn't care what he says about people. He will do what he has to subvert the will of the American people, just like January 6th. Damn. Now, I think it's safe to say Trump doesn't care what he's saying about people. I don't disagree with that. I mean, the whole cats and dog thing, I don't think he cared. I would agree with that, but a lot of folks who support Trump believe what he's saying is true. They believe what he's saying is true. So you don't need to care when it's the facts. Facts don't need your feelings to make them true. A lot of folks believe him. Tap the screen before we go back to the box. Get the likes up. I said 50. We didn't make 50. What the hell's up with all the lazy thumbs in here today? Is the program really that bad? Tap the screen. Get the likes up to about 50. We'll have to keep pushing you guys along. It's a little slow program today. Crystal Lopez, why are you quiet now? I see that in the comments. Whatever happened to Zuckerberg versus Elon's fight? It's a good question. I didn't hear anything else about Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk fighting. That is a good question. Going back to the box. And by the way, when Taylor Swift, the whole childless cat lady thing, speaking of Elon Musk, he took the social media on his own page, and in reference to Taylor Swift, he said he would give her a child and buy her a cat. I don't know why. Elon Musk has went knee deep in for the right. I mean, Elon Musk has went, because you hear the right talking about Bill Gates and Zuckerberg and all of them working for the left. Elon Musk is the same example for the right. He's went knee deep in it for the right. Going back to the box, the one and only DJ Julio. Good afternoon, DJ. Now I'm assuming, now DJ's MAGA. I'm assuming my last caller, you don't resonate with that.
To be honest with you, I was listening to DenCal for a little bit, and then he started talking about a supposed statement that Kamala made on Ellen. So I jumped off your live real quick and hit up YouTube and found it at the 10:20 mark where she's talking about being on an elevator with Elon, someone else, and Donald Trump. And Kamala says, well, it depends. Do both of us have to come out alive, or does one of us have to come out alive?
Well, I'm going to take the Trump stance on this. Go ahead.
So that could be what they're insinuating. I don't think it's enough. I think it's more of a snarky comment.
So she's not joking about it. At least in your opinion, that right there alone is not enough to justify saying she's joking about taking his life.
I mean, if I'm the guy getting threatened, I would, and I've been shot at twice, I might feel that way. Okay. But me listen to it, she was shooting for ratings at that point. This was back in 2018 when that interview took place.
Okay. All right, fair enough. So there has been a second. So as you pointed out, there has been a second attempt on Trump's life. What do you think is happening? They didn't do this to Bush and Obama, who were controversial. Probably, well, I want to say just as controversial as Trump, but maybe not. But they weren't fairly controversial, both Bush and Obama, and nobody tried to take their life. Why is Trump getting the short end of the stick here?
I think because he aims to disrupt everything that government doesn't want us to know. I really, I'm going to jump in a conspiracy hole there and say once was for notoriety, twice is they're trying to stop him from doing what he wants to do, and that's he wants to declassify a lot of shit.
Why didn't he declassify anything that was shocking during his first term?
I honestly think that he probably was going to, but he was spending a lot of time fighting all of the shit they've been trying to. I mean, what do we got? Two impeachments, 4 indictments, 91 charges, 2 assassination attempts. I mean, come on.
Well, it doesn't take that long to declassify something. I mean, you're talking about all of the things he was busy with when people were trying to attack him. He played plenty of golf. He tweeted out plenty of attacks against everybody from Rosie O'Donnell to Megyn Kelly. He could have been declassifying things then. He did a lot that had nothing to do with the office. So he's been declassifying stuff.
Well, he did. He got the UFO stuff declassified.
He got the what?
Some of the UFO Area 51 stuff declassified.
Like what? I haven't heard anything.
More information. Well, you have to do that. Look a little bit later, I guess.
So it was nothing. It's nothing that is memorable, though.
I mean, I don't know if it's memorable or not. Depends on if you follow that. I'm not too worried about aliens. If they come, they come.
I want to hear something about the Kennedy assassination, or how the liberals are trying to ruin the world, or George Soros or something. I mean, Area 51?
Me too. I mean, and he's already promised. I mean, working with Kennedy, he promises to declassify those files. These are things that
but he promised to give police
right when he gets in the office.
Yeah, but Julio, he promised to give police immunity from prosecution. You think he's going to keep that promise?
I don't think he can. Sorry, I was taking a drink.
Right.
I don't think he can.
Okay.
I don't think that he'll get it unless it's an executive order of some sort, which I don't think he can do that either. To be honest with you, I'm not real sure about the legalities behind all that. But I mean, if it goes to Congress, it's never going to go. It's never going to go.
I don't know about that. It depends on how strong the Congress is on his side. If he got enough, let's say for instance he has a super majority in Congress or a strong majority, I think he could get it done.
That's exactly what it would take. But I mean, if it gets through the House or if it gets through the Senate, it's still got to make it through the second tier of justice. I don't think that it's going to. I just don't think that enough of us in the world want our police force to have complete immunity. Now, I understand that the immunity doesn't stop them from going after the police department. It literally just is set up to not fuck up the cop's life for the rest of his life. I mean, so the cop may have immunity, but you can still go after the police department for whatever crimes that you feel he committed against you.
Well, you know my response on it. My response is simple.
I do.
What can the police not do right now as we speak that he wants to give them immunity to do? I don't know what they can't do that he wants them to be able to do so bad that they need immunity. I'm not getting an explanation on that.
I would like some further discussion on that too, so I can understand that a little bit more too. You're right. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that he talks about, but listen, we're in the middle of a vote. It's election season. If I'm running for president, someone was talking to me about this the other day, and this was what his response was to what you just said was, I'm not going to lay all my cards on the table. Kamala's already trying to take 2 of them. You know, now all of a sudden she wants borders, and we're going to work on the tax reform for the tips, and
I get it. Yeah, I get it. I get that part.
Why am I going to tell her anything else? I mean, just trust. This man has been under fire for almost 8 years.
Yeah, but Julio, that's not a totally complete story. I get that he's been under fire. People would say he wasn't given a chance from day one, but he's not Jimmy Carter, where he's just sitting there, people beating on him. He's launching a lot of attacks himself. Right now, we're talking about Taylor Swift. What has Taylor Swift did to him to make him act like that?
Maybe he just doesn't like her stance with the LGBT thing, and he doesn't like her music. I mean,
I hate her.
Her music either.
I hate her.
I mean, listen, I do my best not to play Taylor Swift because I don't hate her as a person because I don't know her. I can't, but I hate her music.
He said,
Maybe.
We're talking about, Julio, we're talking about the president of the United States posting that he hates one of his citizens.
He doesn't like her music. Taylor Swift.
He didn't use the word music. He said, I hate Taylor Swift. He said nothing about her music.
Taylor's last name is not Swift.
You kidding me, right?
Correct?
No. Yeah, I get your point.
Okay.
Does he know that?
Saying I hate Bud. It's no different than saying I hate Budweiser or I hate Modelo or I hate pineapples. Come on.
No. You said it's no different than saying I hate Budweiser.
Yeah. No different. Same stance.
So this is okay to you then?
Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has an opinion, and they're welcome to it. I'm not judge. I'm not going to judge nobody on who they like or who they don't like. I don't care about that. I care about the person themselves.
The president is using the word hate. You know, people are already suggesting that under Trump, they've never seen so much hatred out in the open. He's online actually using the word hate in rep. I mean, he's telling folks.
Did you hear what you just said?
What?
We've been hiding hate up till this point. That's the translation.
Oh, I believe that, and I believe that. I do believe that.
So then now we're transparent, and that's the best way to be.
So
I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
So wait, yeah, you're wrong as hell. So you're saying that Trump should get credit because he brought the hatred out in the open and eliminated the transparency?
No, what he did is he became transparent.
With hatred.
He's teaching us as Americans how to be transparent. If I don't like you, I'm going to tell you I don't like you.
So you think it's a good thing?
Listen.
I am listening. That's the problem.
None of these people in your chats over the last year and a half, 2 years, however long we've been doing this, me and you've been talking.
Right.
How many times have you heard or watched people say, I hate Julio? All this hate that they're teaching, I don't mind it because that's their opinion.
Julio, you're not the president. They're not the president. It's a difference when you get this stuff coming from a comedian or a celebrity. When the president says it, it holds more weight.
Right. And 100%. You know me for who I tell you I am. I know you for who you tell me you are.
But think about what you said. We're giving Trump credit because he took hatred in the dark and brought it to the light. So now you think that's a good thing?
Well, what I would say to that is we have not done very well as a country most of my life. I looked further back and it was even worse. And for once we have somebody who's not going to be politically correct, who's going to say it exactly how it is, and going to be as presidential as he can be in his term, and we're going to judge him because he's not like the rest of your presidents. He's not your normal president.
Julio, he's talking about he hates citizens. I mean,
he hates Taylor Swift. Fuck Taylor Swift. I'm going to say it for everybody watching, all 637 of you. Fuck Taylor Swift. She has no pole in this goddamn fight.
Well, she apparently she does. Certainly when you say you hate her. I see Johnny 11 in the comments says that's what we like. So, I mean, is that what you like, him coming out clean about people he hates?
Yeah. I would much rather, Tim, honest to God, I would much rather you bring me up and tell me I don't like your opinion, don't like who you are, stay the fuck off my channel, than entertain me for 15 minutes or 10 minutes or 5 minutes, depending on the conversation. But I would really appreciate that more than you bringing me up here for no goddamn good reason.
I would rather, if you had those feelings about me, you confront me, maybe in a DM or, something private. I don't want you saying that shit in front of millions of people.
Well, see, but I don't care if you hate me, so you can say it in front of 100 million people. Right. I don't give a shit.
Right. So do you think what Trump did was a good thing in regards to being transparent?
I would say a fine thing. It's okay for him to have his opinion. I respect the man for stating it. I really do.
So what if a child hates? So what if
hide behind the clicks?
Okay. So what if a child is in school and they hate their teacher? You think it's a good thing in front of the class to say, "I hate you, Miss Smith"?
Yeah, maybe she should get a transfer and actually get an education.
Really?
I've had to do this with my kid. I did it. My dad was a teacher when I was young. I went to my principal the same as I said, listen, me and my dad have been fighting all damn summer. Last thing I want to do is be in his class. I hate him right now. And he's sitting in there with me and my principal, and she said, hate's a strong word. And I said, that's how I feel right now. She said, fine, I'll put you in a different art class.
So what if you're a nurse and you got a patient from Haiti? I hate people like this. You think it's okay for them to say that?
Listen, if they don't want to work on the person and they have another able-bodied nurse, then she's well within her right not to work on people. I mean, listen, would you rather have somebody who hated you in silence working on you?
This is flat-out discrimination, Julio. I mean, you just took us back 50. You took us back 50 years in 2 minutes.
No, not at all. That's honesty. That is honesty. I'm telling you right now, I'm Native American and I'm Mexican. If I go to the regional hospital around here, and that nurse doesn't like me, guess what? I don't want her working on me. If I know she don't like black people, I don't want her working on me.
Wow.
That's her prerogative.
Wow.
That's her prerogative. I can't change that. I have no control over it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
You know that you know how I feel about control and what we have control of. The only thing we have control of is ourselves. And the moment everybody starts understanding that, we're going to be a lot better place. And Trump is responsible for himself, and he's holding himself responsible as he can, saying exactly how he feels.
Okay. And last question before I let you go. With him saying I hate Taylor Swift, how would you respond if somebody said, based on his statement, it shows he has hate in his heart?
I would say that person that said that has probably got more hate and is mad because they can't express their hate.
So in other words, Trump does have hate.
Speaking.
So in other words, you're not denying then that Trump has hate in his heart.
Hate in their heart. Everybody has hate in their heart. Everybody. I see it when you wrinkle your eyebrows with certain guests. I see it when you don't let certain guests talk. I get it. I see it all over you. See, now I see a happy Tim, but I've seen an upset Tim and a hateful Tim. Like, what the hell am I even talking to this dude for?
I gotta let your ass go. Julio, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it. You always welcome back.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Finally, honesty.
I gotta go. Bye.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to Parker's site.
Oh my God. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Enough of that today. DJ Julio's a friend of the program. We talk shit, but Julio's MAGA. I don't mind that at all. He is certainly a friend of the program. Welcome on the program anytime. Appreciate the hat and mustache, Jay Gar. Yeah, thank you. Crystal Lopez, thank you for the very generous super chat. Crystal Lopez says the Inquirer cannot block, ban, or delete your social media or delete all the stories and videos about Haitians eating cats like they do with Hunter Biden's laptop. Not the same thing. Crystal, I made it clear that and I don't totally disagree with what you're saying, because you don't, as a citizen, you just absorb what's coming from the Inquirer. Whereas the social media platforms, you're actually able to post information and exchange with each other. So there are different types of media outlet. So you're 100% correct in saying it's not the same. I'm only making a point that as a politician, you should not be allowed to use media for the benefit of your party. Like, you shouldn't be able to tell the owners of a media company, whether it's Zuckerberg or whether it's Pecker. Inquirer is a different type of media, but it's still wrong. I mean, let's say, for instance, Biden or Kamala Harris had editors working for them at the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times. Very few people read the damn paper anymore, but I'm just making a point. You don't input anything on a newspaper. But do you want the newspapers that are at the, in the train station and things like that, had these big ass false negative articles about former President Trump that is promoting people to buy a paper that hasn't bought one in quite a while? Well, what are they telling us that nobody else is telling us? It's still wrong. So even though there's nobody blocking your post like they may be on social media, it's still wrong to do it. That's the point I'm making. Will G, Trump wants to create his red ribbon army. That would split the country in half. If he was able to create an army to do his bidding, that would be one of the final steps to becoming some type of leader that is not what we're used to in the president. And Dennis Calhoun says, and I thought there was no way to deflect. You're referring to my last caller. He's good. DJ Julio is really good at that. I didn't think he was going to go that route, but I know what you're talking about. Will G, now I'm just waiting for Trump to say the N-word, and I'm good. Damn. Now, that's in reference to what my last caller was saying. Look, if you got hatred in your heart, at least he's been transparent about it. What my last caller said was, shit, what's stopping him from using the N-word? If you're going to support him coming out clean with his hatred, my guess is, if he goes from saying, I hate Taylor Swift, to the handsome liberal as an N-word, he's still being transparent with it. Some people might favor that. At least he's not hiding it. Some people actually might favor that. So I do understand your comment. And DJ Julio says that's ignorance speaking. Come on. Now, I don't know, Julio. I think he is using your statement against you effectively. I kind of got to agree with him. If you gave Trump credit for being transparent using the word hate, really the N-word is just hatred. The N-word is basically a synonym for hatred, if used properly. It's pretty much a synonym for the word hatred. So if you're okay with somebody coming out and flat out saying I hate somebody, what really would be the difference between that and using the N-word? I don't see it. We'll talk about it in the future. All right, moving on with the program. Make sure I address all the super chat. Yeah, that's crazy. I said I'm just waiting for Trump to say the N-word and I'm good. You don't think he would do that, though, do you? Who freed Kodak Black? That would be Trump. Julio is speaking facts, truth in the open. Two-faced lies many are living by, says Rez Troy Fire. Okay, all right. Black people should stop calling each other the N-word, for real. I agree. I don't think it furthers the conversation or the narrative at all. I do agree with that. The difference is why you hate people. Going back to the box. Tap the screen, by the way. Let's see if we can get up to about 80,000. Some of you folks have began to show a little bit of love to the program, a little bit of participation. Tap the screen, get the likes up if you will. Helps out the algorithm, as I always say, brings in more MAGA. By the way, if you enjoy civilized dialogue from all sides of the aisle, follow the program for you folks on TikTok. A subscription on YouTube, if you will. We're here Monday through Friday. Black people should never give up that word. It's got power. What? You feel empowered using the N-word? Really? I don't know where the hell that's coming from. All right, let me go back to it's got power. Got no power to make you look crazy. Power. Going back, never heard of that one before. City, Indy. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Talking about a second attempt on former President Trump's life. Why is this happening? Why didn't it happen to Obama, the first black president, Bush starting wars? Why is Trump getting the short end of the stick? City, good afternoon. What say you?
How you doing, my friend? Hey, it's called you get what you wish for, man.
He wished, he wished for an assassination attempt?
I don't believe he wished for it, but he wanted it to happen to everybody else, so hell.
He what?
He wants something that, when you put out information as Haitians are eating cats and dogs, and you know people are sending out bomb threats and all this stuff, you're asking for other people to be hurt for some reason. That's what he's wishing, for other people to be hurt. And for your last call, I just want to clarify something real quick. A president can't declassify information. Just to put that out there, it has to go through proper channels, proper protocol in order for anything to be declassified. You can't just get an envelope and be like, "Oh, I'm letting the whole world." You can't do that. And Handsome, you know this.
I know.
You can't declassify stuff because he wants to.
I didn't know he had no classification powers. I know certain things.
The president has no classification powers. He can suggest declassifying information, but it has to go through several. It has to go through several loops before it's ever declassified. And for the other parties that's included in his declassifying has to agree to declassifying the information. And if they say no, then it's not declassified. If they say no,
that's something I'll say about that. That's something I got to look up. I'm not 100% certain of what you're saying.
Look it up.
Yeah, I will look it up. I'm not 100% certain.
It's there. And can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
Can you pull up the?
I don't have. Yeah, I'm not in my little makeshift studio. I'm not able to pull. I got all my devices for you guys.
This is a figure of speech. But can you pull up Donald Trump's conversation to the world when they try to whoop Nancy Pelosi's husband? Can you pull that up?
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Yeah, and something, you make a good point, because there were some folks having choice words showing little sympathy for the hits on Trump, and a lot of MAGA, a lot of Trump supporters are talking about how deplorable it is for people to make light of somebody trying to take his life. And you are correct. They did the same thing when Nancy Pelosi's husband almost lost his life.
Can you pull up when they were saying hang Mike Pence, and Donald Trump came out saying don't do that. That's not cool. We shouldn't be doing that to our American citizens, especially our vice presidents. Can you pull that up?
You can't pull that up at all, because apparently he said maybe Mike Pence deserved it.
Yeah, you can't pull up any type. Can you pull up something just recently happened of Donald Trump coming out about the shooting at the school, and he's saying, "Hey, we got to do something about gun violence." Can we pull that up?
No. Not really.
You can't pull none of this. Because he don't give a hoot. He don't care about nothing that happens to anybody but himself.
You think he's that You think he's that self-centered?
He's that selfish. And just for conspiracies, and I like that they keep on trying to find conspiracies. I believe it's assassination attempts that's coming from in-house. I believe it's coming from in-house.
You gotta elaborate on that. What do you mean?
I don't want to go no further than that.
No, you can't. Wait, hold on. You didn't come here on an uncensored program and say some shit like that without a follow-up.
I had some. asked him, check his wife.
Jesus. Oh my God. Really?
They better check the source.
You think Melania Trump want Trump gone? Oh my God. Jesus.
Hey, I'm just joking, but see, that's what happens when you got all these conspiracy theories and all this nonsense. And one can easily be set for him.
I gotta say, when you said that on YouTube, some of the women actually, you triggered them and they agree. I guess somebody said it's a mic drop. Melania sent a hit out on him. Jessica said she's sick of him. That actually resonated with a lot of women. Wow.
Check his wife. I mean, I was like, hey, first thing I thought the first two times, the first time, I was like, she that mad? And the second time, I said, she pissed off. He running around town with this little black, jet black hair woman.
You talking about Laura Loomer? Laura Loomer?
Yeah, all in his face. Yeah, check that shit out. I mean, I don't know.
I understand you're being comical to some degree, but yet the photos of him with Laura Loomer, that don't look good. I had a guest come on the program, and I brought those photos up. I was not aware of them, but I was able to bring them up because we were in the makeshift studio at the time. And those Laura Loomer photos, there's a couple of them when he has his hand around the small of her back, and another with their face off, like his belly and her belly are on it. Like it looks suspect. It looks questionable. I know what you're doing. Oh my God.
I'm telling you, man, check his wife. Hell, that's the first place I went. Now, because he's been getting away with a bunch of nonsense for a decade. So, hell, I feel like the only person could be wanting him out of here is somebody close to him. Ooh. That's just my opinion.
Oh, my God.
But, like I told you the last time we spoke, I am a comedian. So that's how we think.
So what do you think about the I hate Taylor Swift?
I mean, like you were just saying, hatred is a powerful word. And
it should be. I don't know why it's lost its power. It should be though.
But you know something? I was thinking about this though. You remember those old racist movies? When all the little racist movies when the white man finds out that his wife or that somebody of the same color is sympathizing with the other color.
Yeah.
They hate that person. They hate that person more than they actually hate the black person.
Oh, you talking about the N-word lovers?
Them lovers. They hate that person more than they actually hate the actual black person. They feel like that person is more dangerous and more disrespectful than the black people could ever be. Wow. And that's what I looked at. That's the feeling I got when I seen that. I said, oh, he put that out there about Taylor because Taylor is white.
So you think he views Taylor Swift as an N-word lover?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Swear to God.
I wasn't expecting you to go there. Now that ain't, and I see Go ahead.
I'm a conspiracy. I can make a mess all day like them.
You've been hanging around JD. You've been hanging around JD Vance. Are you sitting over there enjoying the remains of a dog or something? City Indy got removed from the program. I don't know why, but TikTok just dropped my last guest. Fuck. I don't think he said anything that was that controversial. Somebody in the comments is hating. City, you are always welcome back on the program. I invite you to appeal that. Should be pretty easy. You didn't really say anything that was worthy of that. Go ahead and appeal that. It happens occasionally. It does happen occasionally. YouTube, we don't get that. And I'm trying to start my Rumble page because a lot of MAGA's on Rumble and I want to go to Rumble. I haven't had enough folks go over to Rumble and follow my Rumble platforms because I want to bring up my YouTube viewers. And I can't do it through YouTube, but I can do it through Rumble, but I haven't had enough of them go to Rumble to do that. But TikTok does have a lot of censorship. That's what happened with my last guest. City, file an appeal. Come on back anytime. MAGA can't take what they dish out, says MXX. I think there's some validity to that. I do. Now, I don't know about Taylor Swift being an N-word lover. No, that was pretty strong. But the N-word lover comment does resonate. For me, the perfect example of that would be the adoration. I'm trying to come up with a good word, but I'll use adoration for today. The adoration for what Kyle Rittenhouse did at that rally. Now, remember, Kyle Rittenhouse, act of self-defense. I don't think it's up for debate. I think what Kyle Rittenhouse did was an act of self-defense, but he put himself in that situation. And the fact is, he took out white Black Lives Matter supporters. And there was a lot of adoration for that. Money started coming in and everything. I do believe, if we want to go in line with what my last guest was saying, those folks that Kyle Rittenhouse took out would be considered as N-word lovers. They would be considered that. There's some validity to it. I don't know about with Taylor Swift, but certainly with Kyle Rittenhouse and those victims. Well, they weren't victims. They were trying to take, because Kyle Rittenhouse was on the ground and they're trying to beat him up and things like that. They did mean him harm. I do believe that. Looking in the comments, the reason they put his sentencing date till after is because I want to give him some time. Oh, you guys are having a conversation with yourselves. Tap the screen. Almost 700 of you in here. We might be to pull out 100,000. It's enough of you folks in here. I think he obviously started it. He was pointing a weapon at the guy he shot. Jan, the first guy he took out over by the building, by the car, or whatever, that guy was clearly making threats at Kyle Rittenhouse, and Kyle Rittenhouse was in full sprint running away from the guy. That guy wanted to take Kyle Rittenhouse's weapon away, thinking that this young guy was too green, too innocent to be out there. That guy got what he deserved, in my opinion. That first guy did. And then the second two guys, one of them had a pistol. Bicep guy who got his arm blown off, he actually was armed. He was armed himself, and the other guy's trying to do flying kicks and got a skateboard. I don't favor what Kyle Rittenhouse did at all. He put himself in a horrible situation simply because he had a long rifle, but at the end of the day, they were trying to hurt him. Once he was on the ground, if they had disarmed him, a serious beating was coming, because that crowd was going to grow and he was going to be the enemy. So I believe what he did was in self-defense, but I'm not a fan of using the stand your ground defense when you intentionally put yourself in a situation where you are likely to have to stand your ground. And I believe Kyle Rittenhouse, certainly George Zimmerman is another one, chasing somebody off in the middle of the night with a gun and then saying, well, he tried to beat my ass and I had to shoot him. I don't favor, to me, in my opinion, the stand your ground defense should be eliminated if you put yourself in that situation. Be like if I took and grabbed a long rifle, maybe several magazines, and walked into a Klan meeting with a Black Lives Matter t-shirt on. Well, I had to stand my ground. That's why they're all laying down here. Deliberately putting yourself in a hostile situation so that you can, it's kind of like what is it called? Fuck around and find out? For the African-American crowd, I wish a motherfucker would. They both mean the same damn thing. They both mean I'm prepared to do violence. I just need somebody to give me a push. Give me a reason. For you older folks, Clint Eastwood, go ahead and make my day. I want to do this. I want to hurt people. But I need you to give me a reason. I don't favor that. I don't believe you should be able to stand your ground when you're just really looking to hurt somebody. You're looking to be in that situation. Will G, off topic, did you see J.D. Vance's faceplace victim with Dana Bash about creating the story of eating cats and dogs? Yes. Yes, I did see J.D. Vance admit that he tried to spin it suggesting that he wanted to draw attention to what's going on in Springfield, Ohio. So he made up the story about dogs and cats being eaten to draw attention to that town. He did say that, and I got it on my page. Somebody who said I want to see it. You're on TikTok. It's on my views. You'll see the photo of J.D. Vance. Just click on it. He did say that. He did say, I want to draw attention. I think his quote was, If I gotta make up stories, I will, or something like that. He admitted he made it up. He did say that. Vance said he would make up stories to get media attention. Yeah, he did say that. He absolutely did say that. If he drove a half a mile to go point his firearm at people, it's insane. Okay, let me go back to the box. Tap the screen. We're almost at 100,000. I think we can do it. Real quick in the comments, we'll go back to Miss Mo Better. Good afternoon, Miss Mo.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's your favorite angry black woman.
Yeah, I already know the comments when you get on the program. And, you know, yeah, they come at you. They come at you.
That's fine. But to go back to DJ Julio, when I tell you, if Spin was a person, it was him.
You're suggesting that DJ Julio spins?
Yes, he's spin like his name, DJ Julio. He's spinning his ass off.
What did he say? Because he's still here. What did he say to lead you to believe he was spinning? What did he say?
See, things like him being honest about being bigot, the bigot that he is, because that's what hatred is. It's bigotry.
You're saying Julio?
It's racism.
Who's the bigot?
I'm talking about Trump now, but for Julio to support some shit like that is crazy. All right, you're honest about who you are. We're going to be honest about why you shouldn't be in your position either. People that speak that way should not be in those positions. That means you can show favor to whoever you want to because I'm in a position. I'm the man. I can do that because I'm the president. He has no business being in that position when he got that much hatred.
So you, just to be clear, so you see former President Trump as a bigot?
Absolutely. And it's not what he says, it's how he moves. He moves like a bigot. When natural disasters happen, when people are being unalived, children in schools and things like that, he can never denounce. Like when they asked him during the debate if he wanted Ukraine to win the war, he said, "Oh, I just want the war to end." He couldn't even answer that question and say yes or no.
But that's not bigoted, Ms. You said he's a bigot.
No, that's not. I'm not that part's not bigoted. It's just the fact that we see where you are. He's not really an honest man. An honest man, he would tell people, I love money and power, period.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody loves money and power, though. You would say that Biden, Kamala, and Obama like money and power, don't they?
True. But, however, they're not just talking about people and running over. Your character will take you a lot further than your skill.
Yeah. So how do you respond to what Julio was saying is that if you do have hatred in your heart, I'd rather you be transparent about it instead of keeping it quiet or hidden.
Well, he need to have his transparent ass at home. And in the comfort of his own home, not in the public where you hate people. And that's been the problem for so long. They were transparent about hatred for years in this country. We have people that have been lynched and all kinds of stuff because they were transparent. Just because you're transparent does not make that right. And for him to have that much hatred in him, he has no business running this country.
Now, I gotta say, with Taylor Swift, I don't even know how many millions of fans that Taylor Swift has, but you gotta assume that's probably gonna cost him some votes, right?
It's gonna cost him a lot of votes. She has almost triple the amount of following than he has. And this is why he's so angry. This is why he's angry. He was like, she has no business supporting the other side with all the people that she has following her. Those are supposed to be my supporters.
Did he say that?
No, he doesn't have to. No. I'm paraphrasing. Okay. He hates that. She has just as much power as him without being in the position he's in. He doesn't like that.
Yeah,
he does not like that. He don't like when people have just as much money as him or have just as much power as him. He don't like them.
Well, I gotta say, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if Taylor Swift had more money than Trump.
Well, this is what I'm saying. She probably does. Yeah. And this is why he hates her. Oh, I hate her. Because, how do you say some stuff out of your mouth? Just because you're big enough to say what you want to say doesn't mean you should. Yeah. I told you this before. The power of life or death lies in the tongue. Don't think that somebody can't say one bad word and cost somebody their life.
Yeah, and I hear that Taylor Swift has received some threats. I mean, for some, now the mayor in that on Springfield, Ohio, is saying they're getting a lot of them. So when you say the power of the tongue, I mean, that sounds like a really good bedroom phrase. But in regards to what we're talking about here, the power of the tongue can cause problems. It does sound like his tongue power is causing problems, at least for some of the folks he's saying negative things about.
But that's been his whole plight since he came down that elevator. He was so mad at Obama. Obama lives rent free in his head, by the way. He was so mad at him that he would stop at nothing to make sure he destroyed Obama's legacy.
Well, he didn't do that. He didn't. I think.
Well, he couldn't. You know why? Because Obama had sense. He wasn't a dummy like that. Trump think these people are. They're not stupid. You hear how he calls Kamala dumb? They're like, oh, we don't need another dumb president. Like, those are the things that are making you dumb.
Yeah.
But you to think that those people have no type of sense to be in their position and stuff like that. You the dummy.
Yeah, Nikki Haley was one that said he needs to stop calling her dumb and it's hurting with women. Like, this woman is not dumb. You might not like her policies or whatever, but
right.
Yeah, you don't get to where she's at by being dumb.
And for the B6 woman, Margie Taylor Greene, we call her B6. the bleach.
Oh yeah, I have that shirt. I actually have that shirt.
Yeah, for her to come out and to denounce some shit that somebody on his side said that it had to been serious. What's that other?
You talking about Laura Loomer? What's her name? Laura Loomer.
Yeah, so, for her talking about, oh, it's gonna smell like curry and all of that stuff. Bitch, how would you know?
Yeah, why?
How would you know? Did you? What if they'd have said when you walk in the room, it smell like wet dog? Now that would be what they would call that racist, yeah. Right? That would be racist. So some people need to learn to know when to shut the fuck up.
But Trump himself did not make those quotes. Are you saying that Trump is guilty by association for hanging with?
You are the company you keep. You are. Listen, how many times you gonna go hang out with a crackhead or something before people start calling you one?
That's a good point. That is a good point. Wow.
Come on now. You'd be guilty by association. Let somebody go rob a bank and you just riding in the car with them. Guess what? You going to jail too.
Yeah, and I will say this, because folks are, some folks who said it's not that bad that Trump was hanging with Laura Loomer. If Biden or Kamala Harris was hanging with Farrakhan, they would have a problem with that. If Farrakhan got off of Air Force One, people would lose their shit. So, yeah.
Look at how he just said he hates Taylor Swift because she said she's endorsing Kamala. Look at. See, he gets a pass on too many things, and for them he keeps saying that he couldn't do that because he sets his own precedent. And for those who don't know what that means, he draws his own attention. He starts his own fights, and then when he's getting beat down, he want to play victim. So he got to make up in his mind. What do you want to be, presidential? What is it exactly what you want to do? Because how you're moving is not presidential. I can tell you that now.
But what about the notion that under Trump, regardless of how he acts, under Trump, a lot more Americans were financially better off? That's what I'm hearing all the time. Okay, yeah, he's not necessarily the smoothest operator, but under Trump, people could afford groceries, they could afford gas, they were doing better economically. How do you respond to that?
Well, thanks to him, he's like that old cow. He gave us a bucket of milk and then turned around and kicked it over. So he started out real good. He started out good because, like I said, he didn't have much work to do when he came in there. Obama left you set up in a decent economy. Even if we didn't like all of Obama's policies, it's still economically he left you set up wonderful. Then you became unpresidential and allowed the pandemic to come in here, where people would have to get those PPP loans, the stimulus checks, all kinds of stuff, which caused our economy to go up, which people were price gouging. He dropped the ball. Let
me ask you this. Just want to make sure I would clarify for my MAGA fans, make sure you don't have what they refer to as TDS. Does Trump have any redeemable qualities at all, in your opinion? Now, Trump and Hillary Clinton did this at the end of the debate, where the moderator said, "Say something good about the other side." I want to hear something good from you about Trump.
He knows his colors well.
That ain't good.
Right? That was something good, right?
That ain't good.
He knows how to count. He could count. His ass can't read, but he sure can count. Yeah, he can count.
All right. He knows his colors well.
That was something good. That was something nice. That wasn't derogatory.
I gotta move it on. That was barely.
Well, at the end of the day, he's for him to still have this many followers, he's doing something right. And not only that, they're just extra slow.
Wait, hold on.
MAGA slow.
74 million folks voted for Trump in 2020. You're saying they're slow, all 74 million of them?
Slow as fuck. They believe anything that come out his mouth. You hear the stuff that comes out of his mouth. You talk about hating people. That's hatred. He became the battery that those people have been holding on to for so long.
How could you say that about MAGA when Biden is up there stumbling and falling down, and he got 80 million votes? What does that say about the Democrats?
Biden's old as fuck. Right? What y'all want him to do? He old. I mean, come on.
And you do realize if Biden is old as fuck, then Trump is at least at the Methuselah level. He ain't that much younger.
That's a fact. Right. He's not. And again, Trump is that battery that they've been holding on to. You hear how when Julio was talking about, the transparency, that's what that means.
That didn't go well to a lot of my audience. I get that part.
That transparency, that is disgusting. That means if I want to call your ass the N-word, I'm going to do it because I'm transparent.
Damn. We'll end with that. That's depressing as hell, but we'll end there. Thank you, Miss Mobetta.
Disgusting.
That part was indeed. Thank you, though. Appreciate you coming through.
Okay.
All right, that is the one and only Miss Mobetta. She was able to escape without normally my MAGA side really gives her the riot act. Maybe because I didn't see as many comments on YouTube, but normally MAGA don't like Miss Mobetta. They let her get away today. Trump is too old, says Shady Grady. Bernie Sanders 2032. Yeah, right. For Crypt Keeper 2032. That's what is that? Another 8 years. I don't think Bernie Sanders is going to be doing much in 8 years. Kamala too saggy neck. Now she does. Look, I probably got a little bit of sag. When you get older, the fucking neck goes down. I was noticing that the other day because I actually have a photo of me and Kamala Harris together. I'm not Willie Brown, so don't go there. But she was at a fundraiser, and I was at the fundraiser, and I took a photo with her, and that saggy neck thing wasn't there. So I think the photo's about 5 years old or something like that. Remember, she ran for president. The year that she ran and Hillary Clinton got it. That's the year I took the photo. And yeah, she didn't have it. But I mean, that is now. But 7-8 years? I mean, Kamala Harris is 60, so she would have been in her early 50s. She was really good looking in person back then. Looking in the comments, Tim gets constipated by the Democratic National Convention or Harris campaign or both, says Andy. I don't know what the hell that, compensated. They said constipated. Wow, my eyes are bad. He said Tim gets compensated by the Democratic National Convention or the Harris campaign. Let me tell you something. If I was fortunate enough to be compensated by a political campaign, one of the first things I would put in my damn contract is no more fucking shows in the car. How about that? I want a real comfortable seat, preferably something with some quiet wheels on it, with a large desk, and we'd start out there. So the idea that I'm being compensated, it qualifies as laughable, but I appreciate your input. Sean Crawford, cuz she's petty. The boys wanted to. Let's tap this screen. By the way, smash that like button on YouTube. I haven't asked that. We can certainly come up to about 130. 130, THURDY. 130 for the likes on YouTube. Smash that like button. Same on TikTok. 120. Can we make that happen? 120,000. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. This is an uncensored program. Pat Carlson. Yeah. Thank you for the hat mustache. If you enjoy civilized dialogue from outside City out, feel free to follow the program on TikTok, smash that like button on YouTube, a subscription if you will. Speaking of Mr. Carlson, I appreciate you holding. Pat, good afternoon.
Hey, I'm going to turn your head here on a couple of things. All right. About the twice shooting, there could be, if you want to think about it, there could be more than one reason for that. Okay? So when an event takes place like that, it brings that person's likings up by his political party. So the people doing the shooting may say, hey, if we take a pop at him, that'll bring his likes up at points where he's not liked very well.
Pat, they almost hit the man. Pat almost hit the man in the face and killed the bystander at the first one. You think that was done to get his likes up?
Well, no, I'm not necessarily saying that he or any of his staff arranged it, but that's a possibility too. I'm just saying that the people pulling the trigger, they might say, hey, I'm one of his supporters and he's looking really bad right now, and so if I take a shot at him, that's going to boost his likings up. That's a possibility.
You believe you believe there's a remote chance that there is a Trump supporter out there that's MAGA somewhere that want Trump to win so much they're willing to fire around at him and possibly kill another member of MAGA just to get his numbers up?
Yep.
There
are people that crazy out there in this world. It's like people want to take away the pew-pews, right? It's not the pew-pews that are unaliving the people. It's the people who are pulling the trigger. All right, you take all the pew-pews away. You think that's going to stop the mass unaliving? There was no pew-pews used on 9/11, and look how many people lost their lives.
Well, let me just say this: if you get rid, because I don't want to go too deep down the Second Amendment conversation, but if you get rid of firearms, yeah, people can find other ways to take a life, but it will be a lot harder. For instance, trying to take out the life of a president without a firearm will be significantly harder. I mean, the only other way to do it probably would be with a bomb. So, that's pretty easy to detect by dogs. So, yeah, if you get rid of firearms, taking out presidents will probably cease to exist.
Here's another thing I wanted to talk to you about.
Sure.
Okay, I love my fur babies. I love them to pieces, and if somebody went to hurt my fur babies, I would not be very happy with them. And but for one, you're not seeing about all the fur babies that are being eaten by the Haitians, however it's pronounced.
Haitians,
anyhow,
yeah.
Think about this. All right, so people have pigs for pets. So does that mean we can't eat pigs anymore? People have cows for pets. Does that mean we can't have cows and eat beef anymore? Same thing with geese.
Well, here's the thing though. When Trump said the Haitians are eating people's pets, even if you have a pet pig, he's making it sound like your neighbor is going to come over your house, steal the pig, and eat it. So he's not saying people are eating their pets. He's saying people are eating other folks' pets.
I know that, and that's what I'm saying. You're not seeing any reports of that. If that was actually true,
right, none.
You would be seeing reports of that. But yet, look how many dogs and cats are put to death every year in the United States. If somebody actually wanted to eat them, I mean, me myself, I'm not into eating a dog or a cat. But I mean, people are hungry enough. They even eat rats. Snakes, bugs. They eat all sorts of weird stuff. So.
Well, I'll just say this. Some of the narrative in regards to what's happening in Springfield, Ohio, obviously is counterproductive, doesn't make any sense because people are saying that some of these folks have an EBT card with 13, I think somebody said they had an EBT card with $13,000 on it. and they're getting $25,000 for homes and all this stuff, but then they're desperate enough to have to eat a cat and a dog. It doesn't, you can't have it both ways. Either they're living high off the hog, no pun intended, or they're eating dogs. They can't be both. And the right is trying to say both when it fits the narrative.
Right. And the last thing I really want to say, too, is you were talking about how Trump says he hates Taylor Swift, right?
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't saying that when they did that EI picture poster of her where it looked like she was for him. He was all for her.
That is a great point. That a few weeks ago, or yeah, that's
as soon as he found out that she wasn't, oh, I hate her. But what about here? How about this one, where he just recently was doing a speech, in front of his peeps, and was talking about this performer, how beautiful she was, right?
I think I remember what you're talking about.
The performer was a dude. It wasn't a female. It was a dude. And he was sitting there saying how beautiful she was.
Wait a minute. Oh, you're talking about the black, what he said was I think I know what you're talking about, but now you got me wanting to see it again. So Trump said somebody was attractive, but it was a man?
Yes. He was, because if he thinks somebody is for him, he's going to be all for them. He doesn't care about them. He's for what, well, for example, he in one of his political things, rallies, he said, I don't care about you, I just want your vote. It's the same difference with, say, Taylor Swift or anything else. Yeah. And Julio, no offense to Julio, but he's got kind of a screw loose because of the fact that he says it's okay for Trump to say, I hate her. But you see, if I was to say, I hate you, no shit, no big deal. Because who am I? I'm nobody. I'm absolutely nobody. But for somebody in his position, and whether it's Taylor Swift, him, the vice president, whoever, somebody that has that kind of clout to say things like that, no, you don't do that. That's for the same reason that he says, oh, it's okay if you go out there and knock a reporter up the side of the head. Yeah. You don't think some of his people are going to take him to that word?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. Now, see, Stevie D is claiming that you're batshit crazy, but I think some of the stuff you're saying certainly makes sense. That as a president with that many followers, what he's just like Taylor Swift, when she has that many followers and she says she endorses Kamala Harris, her followers are going to take that seriously, take that to the polls. So when Trump says he hates people, yeah, some of his followers may take that seriously and act on it.
Yeah, but the difference there is Trump says, I hate her. He didn't say, I hate her because of this. Go do your own research. Where Taylor Swift did. She said, go do your own research. She's saying, don't take my word for it. Do your own research. There's a difference there.
Well said. All right, Pat, appreciate it. Thanks for holding, by the way. I didn't saw you in there, but thank you. Appreciate it. Always open to you.
You bet.
Anytime.
All right.
And by the way, he is correct. Taylor Swift did not tell anybody who to vote for. She simply said, she is supporting the Harris-Walz team. And she stated, do your own research to come to your own conclusion. She didn't tell her supporters who to vote for. She basically told them to go to the polls peacefully and patriotically. She didn't tell them to do anything wrong. Just go to the polls peacefully and patriotically. So don't blame her for too much. Looking in the comments, this guy is crazy. Yes, please do your research. The comment moved on the way. Anyway, Nicky Jams is the guy that Trump said was beautiful. Yeah, I did see that. Because he referred to the person as a black rapper or something. And the comments is loaded. Like, who the hell is Nicky Jams? I don't even know who the person is. But Trump was giving him credit for being, and he did say she. Many in the comments suggested he thought it was Nicki Minaj, who is a woman. And because I still have never heard of Nicky Jam. And when he said she, and then this dude comes up there, I don't know if no one prepared him for that or what. He should have. I mean, that looked bad. And by the way, let's keep in mind. Remember Biden and all his gaffes. Sometimes not knowing what city he was in or going the wrong way off stage. If Biden had got up there and said, you know, he's introducing a black rapper or a singer and got the gender wrong, that would be played all over right-wing circles. That was a big gaffe for Trump to make. But if you favor Trump, you're not gonna go that angle with him. But if Biden had done that, it would have made news. Mind you, every right-wing underling will find every little out of context video to prove the false narrative J.D. Vance is putting out, and that is the cats and dogs are being consumed in the town of Springfield, Ohio. Now, what I've said before in regards to that, and thank you for that super chat, Will. It's been 6 days. Tomorrow it will have been a week since we had the presidential debate. 7 continuous days since the presidential debate. 20,000 Haitian immigrants are in the town of Springfield, Ohio. If 20,000 folks, even if a large majority of them are consuming cats and dogs, there should be a lot of footage out over the last 6 or 7 days. Have any of you been seeing recent footage of Haitians eating cats, dogs, and geese? I'm not talking about something that's 2 weeks old, 3 weeks old, 6 months old, 2 years old. Over the last 6 days, have you seen any footage? Unless we are to believe that 20,000 Haitian immigrants, all in sync, decided to change their eating habits to prevent it from getting out, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But I have not seen any footage of Haitian immigrants eating a cat, eating a dog, a geese, because Trump said they're eating all of those. So there should be footage of all 3 of those types of animals being consumed. I've heard some folks suggest that they've seen videos of a black woman eating a cat, and then it came out that the woman was actually an African-American citizen with mental illness in Canton, Ohio. So she didn't fit any of the narrative of what Trump said on the stage. I haven't seen anything beyond that. And we have to take in consideration, if we're going to say we're taking a word of these people who claim it's happening, why does the mayor and the governor of Ohio get ignored? Both of them are saying it's not happening. We're going to believe the average person walking around Springfield, which in my analysis, there's only one non-white person I've seen so far, and it's an African-American guy that's running for mayor that claims it's happening. Everybody else that claims that this stuff is happening are white residents of the town, and it looks like, for the most part, most of the white residents of that town is not happy with the immigrant. Well, I take that back. A lot of white residents in that town is not happy that they got a Haitian influx of Haitian immigrants there. The reason I took it back, because there is footage online of Haitian restaurants filled to the brim with white patrons who are allegedly showing support because of all the hatred that's coming their way. A lot of white patrons in the town of Springfield, or maybe even folks that came to that town from neighboring towns, are going to patronize the Haitian restaurants, claiming out of sympathy because they are receiving a lot of hatred because of what Trump said. That's what I'm hearing. And that's why I saw the photos of the restaurant. Crystal Lopez, coincidence? Both shooters, former Republicans, donated to Act Blue, have a connection to Iran, both in BlackRock commercials, VPN, uncensored info. They're in BlackRock commercials? The 20-year-old that tried to take out Trump in Pennsylvania, he's in a BlackRock commercial. He's pretty young. He's in a BlackRock commercial. That sounds a bit. I'd have to see that. Now I do see you said you have a virtual private network connection where you can get it maybe from another country or something uncensored. But wow, and I see a lot of folks on TikTok are agreeing with you that he is in a. Somebody said he was in their BlackRock commercial as a teenager. Wow. Now, something you stated that I do believe is worthy of pointing out. In addition to the BlackRock thing, they have a connection to Iran. There is no secret that Iran wants Trump taken out. Remember, he's the one that broke the Iran deal threatened constantly to bomb and strike Iran. Trump has not been favorable to Iran at all. For all of the talk that there was no world wars under Trump and all of this, he was about America first. He was constantly threatening the nation of Iran. And he is a big supporter of Israel, who also constantly threatens Iran. He is far greater of a supporter of Israel, at least under the Netanyahu government, than Biden or Kamala Harris. And make no mistake about it, Biden and Kamala Harris are supporters of Israel too, but nowhere near to the level of Trump. Remember, Trump moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, pissing off the Muslim world, and the Israelis loved it. So Iran, they wanted to take out John Bolton. I don't know if you folks are familiar, but that was Trump's ambassador. He used to be at Fox. I think he has a spot on CNN. Him and Trump fell out, but the nation of Iran has no love for Trump. So the connection to Iran resonates. They want Trump out. So could be, but for a state-sponsored assassin to do as poor of a job as those two folks did, I don't know. That's I don't know about that. I mean, them guys were, you could have sent somebody over here more trained than that. They were terrible. Both of them. Particularly the first assailant, because he had a clear shot and just missed. The first assailant, if he was even remotely skilled, Trump wouldn't be here. The second guy sounds like he was laying in wait, maybe for Trump's turn at a certain part of the golf course to come around. Just like the guy who took out Kennedy. He's laying and waiting for the car to come around or whatever. That guy sounded like he was laying and waiting. But the first guy had a clear shot and just fucking missed. I can't see Iran sending somebody over that's that bad. Will G, because as rapper Eminem said, you only get one time at this. So he didn't lose himself in a moment. Will G, the same people posting bullshit about anti-vax information and bullshit stolen election information will be posting bullshit cooking cats and dog information. Yeah, I do believe there's a lot of validity to that. I'm just going to say straight up, yes, I do believe that. Crystal Lopez, both shooters are in a BlackRock commercial. Apparently, I haven't seen it, but there's enough folks in the audience. I do believe what you're saying is true. I don't know if that alone ties them to it, but I do know that Iran has no love for Trump. I think Trump also took out, what is his name, Soleimani, or some very high-ranking Iranian general. They use one of those Ginsu-type missiles. It's not a missile that explodes. It's a missile where several long, sharp blades come out. You ever seen a Christmas tree stand where the legs come out? Well, this particular ordnance, fired from an aircraft at a vehicle, when it gets close, just like the legs of a Christmas tree, well, these are like really long, sharp swords that stick out of it. Doesn't explode. Hits the top of your car and literally slices all of the occupants to pieces. There is a photo of the guy he took out, Soleimani's thumb, wearing a ring that they were able to identify as that's the guy they went. They actually got a photo of that you can find online, but Trump did that. Took out a high-ranking Iranian general. So there's no love for Trump from the Iranian government. So I could see them trying to have a hit put on him, but generally they would probably try to do that abroad in a different country. To do it in the United, but America's an easy country though, because once you gain entry to America, it's pretty easy to find the weapons. Whereas if you're going to try to take Trump out in France or in Europe somewhere, it's not as easy once you get over there to get armed. It's really easy once you're in America to find the tools you need to do the job. It's guns every damn where. As long as we send him over with enough money, I can guarantee I'll be able to get him everything he needs. All right, looking in the comments before we go back to the program, but it's kind of weird that CNN, which is the Democrat, never say where Trump is. Huh? But it's kind of weird that CNN, which is the Democrat, I don't quite get your statement, but I'll just say this. CNN is not as far to the left as the right suggests anymore. Cuomo's gone. Don Lemon is gone. Anderson Cooper, who remains, yeah, he leans a little left, but they've changed that. They've restructured that network. Now, Anderson Cooper's gay. You're not going to find any gay journalist that's favorable to the Trump administration. It is what it is. I think you know why. But CNN is not as far to the left as people continue to suggest. I got work, 3 hours, and I'm drinking like a motherfucker on this stream. Jim, hey, the more you drink, the better it sounds. Let me go to the box. Thank you, Jim, for your comment. Going back to the one and only King Finn. Good afternoon, King.
Hey, what's up, Tim?
I'm always glad to hear you about to cook. I hear you got a few dozen cats in the pot. I hate Taylor Swift. Hate Taylor Swift.
I got some dogs and some cats in the pot. I also got Trump's diapers in the pot too, bro. We about to make some good old shit sandwich stew. So check me out, though. I'm gonna tell you right now. I applaud you, brother. Because last night I seen them trying to come at you from left, right, and the center.
I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to do that again. I've had enough of that.
You learned your lesson, huh?
Yeah, I've learned my lesson. Trying to go to, I really enjoy talking to MAGA, but particularly the African-American Trump supporters. I hate to bring race into it, but I can have a good rapport with Trump supporters that are white all damn day, but the black ones are just, there's nothing but a screaming match. I'm like, what the hell am I in? So I hate to say it, but I got to find some white guys.
This is what I'm asking you. None of them were people of color. None of them were.
LJ.
Every last one of them with that black picture up. Every single last one of them was a white person.
LJ is black.
And I'm not. It's not even that I was like, that I was like, on that. But it kind of pissed me off that people was like, "Oh, you being racist." I'm confused. Every last one of y'all are talking with an Anglo-Saxon accent, even AIP. And when he got up, he had the nerve to say something to you about how you're being hypocritical. And I looked into the screen and seen my man's face. I'm like, and heard his voice. I'm like, bro, are you serious? You do realize that when Trump says a mass deportation, he's talking about your Spanish ass too.
I didn't see that. Oh yeah, you won't see me doing it. I won't do that anymore. So, but what do you think in regards to the topics here with Trump saying he hates music sensation Taylor Swift? Do you take? Huh?
He think Nikki Cooks is a woman. What's my man name? Nikki Cooks or Nikki Cooks, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He think that's a woman. That's a dude, bro. Nobody care if you don't like Taylor Swift. I don't personally listen to Taylor Swift, but I ain't got a problem with her, and I'm not hating on her. Okay, he talking about some. Oh, I don't personally like Taylor Swift. I like what's Mahomes' wife name?
That
lady don't make no damn music. She don't make no damn music. You sound stupid.
Yeah, Mahomes'
crazy as hell.
Yeah, Mahomes' wife is just. Yeah, Mahomes' wife just supports Trump, and she's there to support Mahomes. But yeah, she don't do anything to like other than she just supports you.
Exactly. Point proven. If you can pander and kiss his ass, he down with you. If you say anything against him, like a spoiled ass baby, you tell him no, he hates you. You tell him yes, he loves you. Like I said, shitty Don strikes again. Nobody cares, okay? Be mad. Be big mad. Good.
No, man. So they don't try to take this man's life twice. What the hell's going on?
That shit's a setup. That shit's a setup. You know that, right? Now, the first time I might would have believed that it might have been possible, but the second time, you know damn well that he was not in no danger. That dude wasn't taking no shot. How? Okay, let me ask you this: Did the dude get shot? Did the dude who tried to do quote unquote allegedly try to take Diaper Don's life for the second time? He get shot.
Nobody got shot. In fact, the guy who the alleged assassin, he never even fired a shot. They shot at him.
Really, didn't he? See, so how was it assassination attempt then?
Well, he was laying in wait. And, Trump's playing golf. So when Trump gets around to this next hole of bushes with a long rifle, and he spotted him in the bushes, is the way report comes out.
Wait. They spotted him on a golf course with a long rifle.
He's in a wooded area,
What
though.
would be the point?
Kingpin, he's in a
What would
wooded
be the
area.
point of somebody shooting him? Okay, what would be the point of somebody shooting him on a golf course? That's not public enough. So if you really want somebody to get what they got, excuse me, I hate to say it like this. If you really want somebody to get it publicly, you know what I'm saying?
Well, wait, hold on. He did have a GoPro. He was preparing it.
Well, damn. I mean, hey, maybe I don't know enough. I'm sorry.
He had a GoPro. He was yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Because once you start emailing and sending out stuff, even the government can't bring it back. So can you imagine waking up and there's a photo or video footage of Trump being taken out in your inbox? I mean, because this guy don't send it out or put it on Facebook or something like that. He intended to release that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I would be mortified.
Yeah.
That would not be something I want to see because I'd rather see him in an orange jumpsuit than die.
Yeah.
Death is too damn easy.
Well, I was watching the attempt on Fox News, that first one where he's holding his ear and he drops down. Also, the guy who went to Buffalo, I'm pretty sure you may have heard the mass shooting in the Buffalo supermarket. He filmed it. That footage is out there. I've seen that where he went into the market and because he was literally wearing like a helmet cam or something. So you see the barrel of his rifle. And you literally see the victims dropping. I mean, he filmed that. It's like watching a Call of Duty footage in real life. But he filmed that.
That's what happened when you get people who they think that's what they're supposed to do. You get people out here who have mental disabilities, and you give them ARs with bump stocks and all types of guns. You know, you give them access and freedom to bear that arm. Well, this is what happens when you do that. Instead of regulating gun control, you let people go get more guns. This is what happens when you do that. Maybe you don't like what that person says, you know what I'm saying? And you think that taking a pew-pew is something you should do. I don't personally agree with that because, again, I personally think going ahead and letting Trump get pew-pewed is the wrong thing to do because I'd much rather see his ass in an orange jumpsuit.
Now, Trump, you do realize Trump is never going to do time, right?
Hey, I want to see the orange jumpsuit pic. We seen the mug shot. Everybody said we weren't going to see the mug shot. We seen the height lines behind him. Hey, everybody say we weren't going to see that too, right? We seen him catch 34 felonies out of that 91. Yeah. Everybody said he wasn't going to catch none of them, right? Everybody keeps saying what we not going to do. But for some strange reason, we keep seeing it happen, right? Okay, so
he's almost 80 years old. Wait, he's almost 80, Kingfin. You want him to go and you want him to be locked up? The man is almost 80.
Okay, so what's the statute of limitations on the crimes that he committed?
No, he would qualify, but I mean, he's just an old man. You wouldn't have no sympathy at all?
So, no, I'm not. Hell no. Do you think they had any sympathy for them people who got hurt? Would there have been any sympathy for Mike Pence if they would have hung his ass on January 6th? Would there have been any sympathy for any of those people who they trampled running into the damn Capitol? Would there have been any sympathy? Was there any sympathy for Sonia Massey? Was there any sympathy for the Charleston 9? Was there any sympathy for the Central Park 5? Where's the sympathy for them? Fuck him. He can get that orange jumpsuit and bounce the fuck on out. 80, 90, 120 years old. He did the crime. You do the fucking time. Period. Point blank. So that's what they would tell me and my son and anybody else who did a damn crime. Am I lying or am I right?
I'm starting to think you might not vote for Trump. Maybe on the fence.
You know what? I would vote for Trump. I'd vote for Trump to be the first mayor of Rikers.
All right, King. It's enough cooking in the kitchen. You setting the whole place on fire. Appreciate it. I got to go.
Peace.
All right. Mayor of Rikers. Damn. Haven't heard that one in a while. Mayor of Rikers. And I see in the comments, Emmanuel Glaze said he just committed tax crimes. Damn. Yeah. Mayor of Rikers. Wow. The incarceration industry is for us, not them. That is true. That is true. I'm confused. He didn't do none of that. Emmanuel, He was convicted. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to go into whether it was a witch hunt, and I do believe some of the stuff Trump faces is a witch hunt, just like Hunter Biden. But you know many people in prison right now who will say that their charges were a witch hunt, and we don't give a fuck about them. So it is what it is. What are the charges on the new assassination? Shooter is having a weapon with serial number scratched off. Well, the Mr. McKinnon, the alleged shooter is a prohibited possessor, so he's going to go down for that. He was already a felon in possession of a firearm. So if they, I think they sent. In fact, I'm certain that they sent they said they were able to collect DNA because they found a GoPro, they found his long rifle, and they found DNA on those devices. And they stated they sent that to Quantico. Also, they found a mobile device, and they were able to track his whereabouts. I think he came from North Carolina or something like that. They were able to track his, where he. Look, at the end of the day, if you're gonna do some shady shit, don't have a phone on you. I consider this a PSA. Couple things I'll tell you right off the bat. I don't think anybody's going to do anything as bad as what this guy did yesterday. But if you got some shady shit planned, don't have a phone on you. I mean, it is what it is. It's a beacon, and it literally is kind of like a recording device of where you've been, how long you were there. Okay, I mean, most of you folks, if you got a device, you ever had Google? You ever went to a restaurant and Google told you were here 2 years ago? What the fuck? That's the phone will give your ass away. Anytime you do something, that's the first thing the police want is your phone, because the phone will snitch on you. So the first thing is, if you're going to do some shady shit, don't have a phone on you. Now, the second piece of advice I'd give, this guy actually took up on this. Don't say shit. You get arrested, I'm pleading the fifth. This guy did that. The first, a lot of times some of these mass casualty events, these students, they're underage, they talk to the cops and they actually tell them what happened. Like, for instance, the guy that just went to a school down there in the suburb of Atlanta, he actually talked to the police, and all of a sudden his father is under arrest. Chances are, if that 14-year-old had kept his mouth shut, his dad would not be facing 4 murder charges. So keep your mouth shut. This guy in Florida that reportedly was trying to take out Trump immediately pled the fifth. Now, keep in mind how they found him. He's on a golf course. They can see the muzzle of his weapon sticking through some bushes. Trump is not in line of sight yet. That's what they stated. So it wasn't like he was actually aiming at Trump. He's in the bushes. He got a long rifle. He got a GoPro, all of this stuff. But a good lawyer can say, how do you know he's going to shoot this guy? Maybe he's waiting on somebody else. Maybe he was out here hunting. I mean, there's a lot of ways a lawyer can spin that because he didn't say shit. My guess is this guy may one day be out because not talking has its value. So if you're going to do some shady shit, probably would even been better off if he didn't bring a phone. Don't bring a phone. Don't say nothing. And I see in the comments, what does that say? That gender says 3 words. Where's my lawyer? Yeah. Don't say shit. Let them do what they're supposed to do. Detect. You're a detective. Detect. And it makes their case a lot harder. For you folks who may watch some of the real crime dramas like First 48 and stuff like that, a large portion of their cases were developed due to the testimony of the criminal. A lot of times it's the criminal giving them information that they never would have got on their own. Keep your mouth shut. And understand that I'm here to help you. Just tell me, and I'm here. They can't do. The judge is gonna make all those decisions. He can't help your ass. You know what he can do for you. Keep your mouth shut. Looking in the comments, take an AK-47 rifle with no bullets. Huh? Are you saying that I didn't hear that. You're saying the firearm didn't have any weapon? I didn't even hear that. Are you guys saying that the fire? Because they said he had an SKS or an AK-47. You said there was no rounds in it? Wow, that'll really help his defense if that's the case. They initially said 2 people were shooting at each other, not at Trump. That's what I'm saying. There's all kinds of room for his defense attorneys to negotiate now, because he didn't snitch and say anything. Trump was not in line of sight. He could come up with a whole host of reasons, Maybe I was planning on robbing a bank later, and I'm out here in the woods making sure my weapons work. And then I was going to walk into town. I didn't know the president was nearby. I mean, there's like a million ways you can go with it because he didn't say shit. Will G. Trump loses. He can be president of the Confederates. Yikes. I thought the Confederates were gone. I thought, by the way, the KKK showed up in Springfield, Ohio the other day. And the Proud Boys, according to the news. According to the news, the Proud Boys and the KKK were in Springfield, Ohio with those Haitians. I'll leave it up to you guys to go figure. Going back to the box, Jeremy. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program, Jeremy. Jeremy, sleep. Okay. All right. Sleeping good, too. Wow, sleeping real good. MAGA is a new What? Yeah, alter ego. Thank you. Knock, knock, Tim. Furback. All right, I see Jeremy was really sleeping. I see Joseph Ellison on YouTube said Sleepy Joe. Hey, we remember him. He only got what? How many months does Joe Biden have left? We're looking at 50 days to the election, and then he has 2 more months after that, December and January. Yeah, so Joe Biden got like 4 months or so left. Wow, 4 months or so left before he's gone. As a matter of fact, in the ratification of the Constitution, the states were not allowed to take any of your federal rights protected to you by the Bill of Rights. Yeah, I didn't have any rights back then, Mr. McKinnon, so I can't speak on it. No, in the state of Michigan, if you voluntarily give up your federal rights to carry a gun, who would voluntarily give up their rights? If you voluntarily give up your rights to carry a gun, it is because you signed a waiver with the state saying that you wouldn't, but as part of a ratification. Well, I guess if you facing a felony or something, you may voluntarily give them up for a lesser sentence, but going back to the box, I have attorney for him, Mr. Tim Ray Williams. He's going to need one. Let's try it again. Furback. Good afternoon. Somebody said, did I say Donald J. Trump for president? Did I see that? Furback.
What's up, Tim? How you doing?
I'm doing good, hanging out like Mike Pence on January 6th, as I always say. So, hey, it's hot out there for a vice president. So
stay away from trees.
Well, they brought their own device. You didn't need a tree for what they was gonna do. They had their own device.
For sure.
Yeah. The man is hating on Taylor Swift. Is that a lot to do with nothing? I mean, the guy tweeted out or got on his Truth Social and said, "I hate Taylor Swift." Is that much to do about nothing?
To me, because Trump unites hate. That's what he does.
He unites hate. Explain that.
All the bigots, all the racists, all the anti-trans, all the anti-progress. I mean, they all, hold on a second. Come to him like a magnet.
You sound like somebody fucking behind. What is that squeaking sound?
Oh, that's me in my chair, man. That's not bad. I'm not that good at multitasking.
I like it. This man multitasking? Okay, you sound like I'm talking to Shannon Sharp or something. Okay, so all right.
Hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wanted to make sure I wasn't recording something you didn't want to be played back later. So at the end, so you said Trump unites hatred. Hey, give me some examples again. I didn't hear that.
Well, you just said it. Who was up here in Springfield? Who did you just say was up here?
You talking about the KKK is in Haitian? KKK is in Springfield, Ohio.
Yeah, him and the Proud Boys. I mean, like I said, he unites those types of people. They all get behind him with that MAGA hat, and they get charged up, like Ms. Mo Better said. They get that energizer in the back, and they start beating that drum like that little bunny.
Yeah. Now, I've been told throughout these debates, the Democratic Party is the party of the KKK. They started all that. Are those Democrats in Springfield, Ohio?
I don't know. I guess you have to ask the KKK, but they wear those sheets, so they
don't really take a lot of questions. They don't do interviews. They do less interviews than Kamala Harris, so it's gonna be kind of hard to get them. They don't like the tough questions.
No, not at all. But yeah, man. I mean, when we're gonna stop saying this? I'm glad the guy's okay, but I'm kind of at the point where this is all theater. Like, it just seems to always line up that, oh, he's having a bad time, and in the words of Vance, let's make a story.
Let's make a story. Oh my God! What is like R. Kelly? Let's go half on the story. So in the comments, Will G says apparently the Confederacy is not gone. They are still waving the battle flag, and they want to call a civil war. Donald J. Trump can be the Kim Jong-un of the Confederacy. You don't see anything like that happening, do you, Furback? Civil unrest?
Yeah.
Under the leadership of Trump?
Well, like I told you, when he got Vance, I'm like, what is this guy trying to do? Is he trying to win, or is he trying to galvanize a certain type of people? And it makes you think.
Well, we know Trump is seeking loyal cabinet members at this point. After seeing what happened with Mike Pence, Attorney General Barr, Ambassador Bolton, Omarosa, Scaramucci, he had so many folks, Spicer, that really went south on him. I do believe he is trying to assemble a cabinet of loyalists so that doesn't happen again, but is it as bad as you're saying?
Well, I mean, who's going to taste his soup before he tastes it? That sounds like a king to me.
Damn. Yeah. Shit, taste the soup before I do. Wow. That's like a canary in a coal mine almost.
Mm-hmm. And, and one more thing, I mean, not one more thing, we could talk, but before I lose this, can we start with Kamala needs to do more speaking engagements? She needs to be more this, more that. It's okay for Donald Trump to be unorthodox and not the, normal politician. He literally just said after he got his ass wiped on the floor that he's not going to debate again. Yeah.
Well, if I'm his handler, I wouldn't want him out there with Kamala Harris again either. I mean, I know he's not going to listen to any instructions. Tulsi Gabbard had a really good debate against Kamala Harris. She defeated Kamala Harris on a few issues, and she was the one who trained Trump. He clearly didn't follow any advice she would have given him at all. There's no way Tulsi Gabbard would have went out there talking about people eating animals and shit like that without some significant proof. So he didn't listen to Tulsi Gabbard. So if I'm one of Trump's handlers, why I wouldn't send her back after again either. Like, unless Biden is out there, I'm not sending you out there.
I agree. That's why I say let's stop this talk about what she needs to do. Yeah. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. I mean, hey, why break something that ain't broke?
Yeah, and I've said that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I've said that. Even though as a voter, I would like to see Kamala Harris taking more questions and answering, things about her policies and whether what she's promising can actually be done, such as forgiving all tips. I don't think either one of them are going to do that, forgiving taxes on tips. But I would like to see them ask her tough questions and let her answer them. But as you stated, I agree in the statement, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you're competitive with Trump or even leading in a bunch of swing states without having to do that, don't, because Trump is going in the tough environments and taking the tough questions, and it ain't making him look good at all. I mean, he went to the black convention or whatever, and he went there talking about giving police immunity. You didn't gain any black votes with that shit at all. You went into a tough environment, and you didn't come out looking any better. So I would tell Kamala Harris, don't be him. If he want to do it, let him do it, but it ain't helping him. So why would you do it? I wouldn't have her out there either if I'm her handler. But as a voter, I do want her out there.
Yeah, like I said, as a voter, it'd be nice. As a voter, I want to see her wax his ass again. You know what I mean? As a voter, that's what I want to see.
But that ain't
gonna have what we want, though. Obviously, you know what I mean. So, I mean, to that point, then yeah, she keep running her race, and obviously he's gonna run his. But let's not put conventional thinking in when it comes to Trump and any kind of thing he's a part of, because obviously conventional thinking is not what he does, and we shouldn't expect that. So I think obviously if you're going to beat him, I think that was Joe's problem. He was a conventional politician, and you're running against a guy who's not. So therefore, he was kind of at a disadvantage. But I think Kamala is with all the shit, and she's ready for it. She's an Oakland girl.
Yeah. Well, I see in response to us talking about the NABG, the National Black Journalists, or whatever it's called, but National Association of Black Journalists, Mr. McKinnon on YouTube said, we ain't fighting for just white people's rights, my friend. Where we go one, we go all, that statement. But he's saying that the fact that Trump was willing to go to the National Association of Black Journalists shows that he's willing to work with black people. But I will push back and say, going into a black environment talking about you're going to get police immunity in liberal cities is not a winning subject to run on. And they didn't like it, and I don't like it necessarily either, that you're going to get a police predominantly dealing with black people immunity. But he did go into that forum and say that. So I don't know if you say we ain't fighting for just white people, that ain't sounding good to black people. What do you think? Go ahead.
Well, I'll push back a little bit myself and say that let's look at it from a different way. Maybe he's going into the Bears den poking the bear because, like I said, the people that he unites, they like to see him go in there poking the bear and saying all that shit that he knows is going to fuck us up.
Yeah, because I would tell you right off the bat, he made the disclaimer, we're going to work with liberal mayors and liberal governors to lower crime. We're going to get police immunity from prosecution. If he went down to rural Alabama somewhere and started telling some of them folks, we're going to get your cops immunity, it wouldn't be favorable to them either. Nobody wants a police force that has immunity. I don't know why he thinks that is a winning ticket, other than maybe you're courting a base that is not in those areas. Because anybody in an area where you're promising to get a cop's immunity is probably not going to like it.
Well, like you said, it's those little dog whistles that, his dogs are coming to hear. Like I said, I've been saying on these apps, I've been saying in these chats that the dude unites hate. That's just where I'm at with it. I mean, it's hard to prove me otherwise because all the people you speak about are these fringe groups that seem to be attracted to this guy, his message, his bravado, or whatever the hell you want to call it. They eating that shit up. Yeah. And like I said, I've told you before, he might get 50 million votes. So
you expect him to really, they're saying this is a close race. If he only gets 50 million votes, you're saying he's going to get his ass kicked.
Yeah, if you said that, something happened in the NFL with both, football watchers, and somehow the 2-12 Jets got to play the fucking 15-1 Patriots, yeah, you going to watch the game? Yeah. Only way I'm gonna watch the game is if you keep fucking telling me that it's competitive. You know what I mean? So I get that part of it. As we speak as the media, if they say it's just a blowout, then what are we doing?
And that
you don't have a show.
You're right.
I'm not talking to you. You know what I mean? So you got to keep it going. But all the little tea leaves and the moves he's making, it's hard for me to believe that he wants to win. I just don't get it. I don't get the moves, man. Like I told you. Oh, that's beautiful.
DJ, I ain't seen that in a long time. Damn. DJ Julio with the title. Wow. Thank you. Let me ask you this, because he blew me off with that. Thank you, DJ. Because you're talking about all of the issues with former President Trump, but now this is a hell of a name. Biden, aka Nation Killer. That's somebody's name. Biden, also known as the Nation Killer. The question he's asking is, what is Kamala Harris's policies except to tax to the max? Because you're being critical of Trump. So folks are going to say, well, if you're going to criticize Trump, what the hell is Kamala Harris offering? How do you respond to that? What kind of policies is Kamala Harris offering?
Well, I can answer that question, but I'm going to simplify it. Just like I did with Joe. Joe ran from the fucking basement. He's low energy, and he beat Trump. She's beating his ass in polls. She just came out of nowhere, had to whip together this campaign within a matter of days, and she's competitive with Trump. So the common denominator is Donald Trump. He's not a good fucking candidate. I keep saying y'all could have had all this shit. He obviously is the king of the GOP right now.
Yeah.
He could have been behind the scenes and been a puppet master for anybody you guys wanted out there, and y'all would have had the same shit. But y'all might have actually got something done. Because this guy's not going to be able to work with anybody unless he has the fucking all three branches. He's not going to be able to work with anybody. He's not going to get shit done.
Wow. So let me ask, I guess, man, that's really sad, but you're right, because they were saying last time they didn't give him a chance from day one, and I guess you got to assume if he gets elected again, you're right, no Democrats are really going to work with him to any great degree, because he's going to come in really, really hated already. So
yeah. I mean, like I said, it's a testament to him. All these troubles, all this shit, could it be political and he could be guilty too? Of course.
Yeah.
The thing in New York, his fucking mouth is why he's in the trouble he's in. Like, I agree with you. If he had just been a little more humble and say, hey, man, hush, hush, let me just pay this off and, keep it moving. But no, he want to come out and attack the judges and prosecutors and Man, this is not a movie, dude. This ain't cut action and you go home and do it again tomorrow. Like, this is real life shit. And I think this whole, I think Michael Cohen said it best. He was kind of already that guy, but as soon as he got a taste of that power, he just became that guy times a million.
Wow. Yeah, he could have, as citizen Trump, he could have literally spent the rest of his life being king of New York. I mean, he would have still been in New York, owned every damn thing. As people always say, you guys loved him before he became president. He would still have his reputation. With Giuliani, Giuliani would still be America's mayor, still have his law degree. Some power doesn't work as well on some people, and it has not been good unless Trump gets elected again. So far, it has not been good for Trump. But I got to move it on further back. You know what we do. Appreciate you coming through.
No problem, man. Love your show as always.
Thank you. Absolutely a pleasure. All right, moving on with the program. Jerome, I thought so too when I need Egypt and Ethiopia. Okay. Black people would hate Kamala after 4 years in office. Mark my words. Huh. Why do you think blacks will hate Kamala Harris after 4 years in office? I'd be curious to know why. Now, I know under Obama, the claim was, particularly by his detractors, and some liberals even will tell you, some blacks will say, well, Obama didn't do anything for black people. Trump is bragging that he did. In fact, Trump, Megan, thank you for the hat and mustache. Yeah, appreciate it. Trump has said he did more for blacks than any other president since Abraham Lincoln. Now, obviously, Lyndon Johnson gave blacks civil rights, and Trump hasn't done anything on that level, but he is saying that. But some folks are pushing back with Obama and said, well, if he's such a great president for blacks, first black president, what the hell did he do for black people? And my pushback is always the same. My response is always the same. You get the first black president in the White House, and he starts doing all this unorthodox shit to help black people out, to help out Chicago, because they say he didn't do nothing for Chicago as well. All of his detractors are going to say, we didn't elect the black president. We didn't elect the president of black people. We did not elect the president of Chicago. They would be calling him a racist. If Obama got in there and was going around like what Trump is saying, I've done more for black people than anybody since Abraham Lincoln, most of the white constituents would be saying he's racist. Why the hell are you just targeting black people? So the idea that he didn't do nothing for black people is kind of like the 6.5 dozen of the other statement, where if he does a bunch of shit for black people, he's going to get criticized. And then if he doesn't, he's going to get criticized by the same people, by the way, by the same people. Looking in the comments, oh my God, it's the sort of illusion even the Catholics say abortion is illegal, huh? Yes, we call him a two-term president. I did love Obama, great guy. It says, yeah, I think history will be favorable to Obama. I mean, you got universal health care, but I don't know where he has like these super great accomplishments. I think it was just a peaceful, decent presidency. The economy was decent under Obama, certainly better than it was under George W. Bush. But I mean, we're not going to put him at the level of, let's say, Reagan, where Reagan got 49 states and a lot of folks on the right really, really loved him. I think folks on the left probably favored Bill Clinton more than Obama. But Obama's presidency, for the most part, will be judged favorably. If Trump does not get reelected, his won't. If Trump does not get reelected, his legacy will be bad, in my opinion. In my opinion, and you guys, like I said, this is a free speech program, so you're always entitled to criticize wherever you believe criticism is due. But in my opinion, because Trump has been controversial, chaotic, if you want to ask Nikki Haley, chaos will follow Trump's legacy after Trump has expired. What do I mean by that? If they name schools after Trump, there are going to be issues from the kids and people. The MAGA hat will have issues in the future. Just the Confederate flag has issues. I do believe if Trump doesn't get reelected and restore his legacy, that hat will have issues similar. Will they name any Navy ships after Trump, highways after Trump? We'll see. But I do believe because he led and lived in chaos in Washington, that will follow him after he has passed on. I think that same legacy. There are 2 schools in America that are named after Richard Nixon, President Nixon, who obviously won out on a bad note. There are only 2 schools in this whole country named after him. That's about it. There's not much named after Richard Nixon at all, because his legacy is so tarnished. If Trump doesn't get reelected, you already know, even if he doesn't do any time behind bars, he's likely still not going to emerge from those charges in a positive manner. Maybe they'll forgive things. Maybe they'll drop it down to probation. But it's going to be on his record as negatives. If he doesn't get reelected, criminally, he will have negative stuff all over his record. He may never do a day in jail or anything like that, but it won't be favorable. And that will affect his legacy. So we'll have to see. But I do believe Trump needs to be reelected. Otherwise, his legacy, January 6th is still out there. And if he don't get reelected, those charges are going to turn into something that becomes historically negative for him. He needs to get reelected for that, to fix that. Same thing with the 2020 election. Now, Trump says it was stolen. I get it. But right now, the powers that be in this country say he lost. He's on record saying he won by a landslide. If he doesn't get reelected to clear that up, he's going to go down in history as somebody who tried to lie about the election. He needs to get reelected to clear that stuff. Otherwise, there'll be some MAGA defending him. But as MAGA slowly passes on, just like Trump, the historians and the ones remaining will continue to clear that up, and it won't be in his favor. Just like right after the Civil War, there was still a whole lot of folks still defending the South and saying what they did was righteous. But as they began passing on, the legacy of the South during that era is bad. They're in the wrong side of history. And if he don't clear it up, he will be too. But we'll see. Too much evidence of fraud, pardoning himself. Wait a minute. Too much evidence of fraud, pardoning himself. It won't help. Well, as I've said a number of times on the program, evidence of fraud doesn't equate to Trump winning by a landslide. Trump said he won by a landslide. Pointing out fraud can be legit, but that don't mean you won. Let's say there's a city councilman in town. I don't like him and you don't like him. We represent 2 votes. We want this guy to lose. At the end of the day, he loses, let's say by 10 votes. But you and I, because we didn't like him, we decided to cheat. Maybe we voted both twice. So in reality, because we cheated, he didn't really lose by 10 votes. He lost by 6 if you discount our 2 votes each. But he still lost. He can show fraud between me and you, but that doesn't give him a right to say he won by a landslide. He just didn't win by 10. He won by 6. Fraud doesn't equate to winning by a landslide. Trump ain't alleging fraud. He's alleging he won. There's no evidence of that. There's no evidence in that. And then, of course, with the Dominion voting machines and things like that, there's actually evidence that cheating was happening on his side, and he kind of skipped over it. I brought up before former President Trump leading up to the election to Joe Biden in the state of North Carolina. He was losing in the polls leading up to the 2020 election in North Carolina. Now, Trump ended up winning North Carolina, but as it got close and he was losing, he's holding rallies. He's on TV saying there's widespread fraud in North Carolina. But on election day, when he actually won North Carolina and received the Electoral College votes for North Carolina, he never complained about the fraud in that state ever again. Which leads to the obvious question. If you care about a free and fair election, you're on record saying there's all this fraud in this state you won. Why aren't you calling for it to be investigated? You're all over Michigan, Arizona, and Georgia. You said there's fraud here. Is it that you want a free and fair election, or do you just want to win? If there's fraud in a state and you win it, you don't care about it anymore. All of that will come up. All of that will come up too. So we'll leave it at that. But unless he wins and he can correct his legacy, it most likely won't be good. It most likely won't be good. Going back to the box, I don't know, who did I just click on? Too much. Julio.
Me again, buddy.
Oh, my fault. Did you want to step in for a minute?
Sure. Where we at? I was talking to the wife, so I wasn't listening. Where we at?
No, we still in the same spot. You just got attacked like crazy. People think you're a racist, man.
Well, everybody thinks I'm a racist because I have an honest view on what reality is. It's not my fault. That's their fault. That's on them.
Well, you did speak favorably of Taylor Swift of Trump referring to saying he hates Taylor Swift. Your wife, you're talking to your wife. How does your wife feel about that?
Hey, honey. Well, that's my 18-year-old daughter here. Well, she's 17, almost 18.
Is she a Swiftie?
Did you hear that Donald Trump said he hates Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Something.
Money. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that shit.
Did you hear that? It's his own opinion.
That's AI. That ain't your daughter. That's AI back there.
Hey, hold on. Get over here. Come here, Aubrey. Come here.
I don't want to be a
Come here. Hold on a second.
No.
Just come here. Come here, you little shit. She's running. You can't see her.
All right, it's all right. It's all good. You ain't got to put her on. All right. She's smart.
She went running.
She's smart. She ain't trying to get on tape. She know how this works.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to be a part of that bullshit.
Yeah, she don't want her future to be ruined because she said something to me. So
yeah, right. Shit, and I ain't worried about it. Ain't nobody ruining my future. I'll say what I want to.
Yeah, you know cancel culture is real. I hear Trump supporters are trying to cancel Taylor Swift, talking about her concerts and things like that. Is cancel culture a real thing on the right?
The cancel culture is real everywhere. It's stupid. I just don't buy into it. So, like, you can do all you want to try to cancel me. I mean, I'm a DJ who's been DJing 23 years. I own my own company. I mean, you can't really cancel me. So I'll try.
But I thought the right was against all that cancel culture shit.
We are. Us adults are. Listen, we have kids too who are all about the woke. All about the difference between woke and awake.
Let me ask you this in regards to your daughter that took off running. Is she voting? Yeah. She's old enough to vote, right?
Yeah.
Is she MAGA?
Listen, I wouldn't say that she's MAGA, and you always call me MAGA. Yes, I lean more MAGA than I do.
Is she voting for Trump?
Moderate.
Is she voting for
Absolutely
Trump?
She is. I believe she is. All right.
Now you said she's 18.
She'll be 18 October 18.
Is she an ally of the LGBT community?
We have friends. She's got friends that identify, and she doesn't understand it, but we don't judge it. Just because we don't like it doesn't mean we judge it.
So she doesn't like the LGBT community.
She doesn't dislike them. What I'm saying is that just because we don't agree that that's a lifestyle for us doesn't mean we're going to judge them based on their choice of lifestyle. We're not going to say that a man is a girl by any means.
Well, the reason I'm asking that is because
we're not going to disrespect that person either.
It's not normal for an 18-year-old to have this. Your stance for your age, more likely, but for an 18-year-old, most teenagers are allies of that community, or people under 25. They're generally allies of that community.
So what you do is you got to educate your young on what is real, and all I ever had to say to either one of my kids in this argument was, how many genders are there? How many biological chromosome matches do we have? They said 2, and in a rare occasion you have a third. And I think we call them hermaphrodites or something like that.
But let me ask you:
they understand that it's not natural, but it's like I say all the time, it doesn't affect me. So why am I going to bust their balls? I don't bust their balls. I just don't agree with it.
Okay. Do you think it's possible for someone to be born a male, but they feel like they are a female trapped in that body?
Yeah. I've seen it in my family, not to the point where it felt like a man in a woman's body or a woman in a man's body, but you can see the difference in the way that I've raised my kids.
So what should they do?
Has raised his kids.
Okay, if you believe that a man can be born and feel like they're trapped in a woman's body, what should they do if they feel that way?
Well, they should talk about their childhood, because that's probably where it stems from. This isn't something that they popped out and were a baby looking around trying to figure out how to talk and said, man, I got this little thing on me. I think I'm a girl, though. I shouldn't have that thing on. That doesn't happen. Come on.
So talking about their childhood, what is that going to do?
Well, it's going to figure out where in their timeline did they start to feel like a woman. So let's say you get somebody and they're like, okay, around 8 years old, I started feeling more feminine. And I started interacting with girls more. It's like, okay, well, what was your demographic of people in your life? Well, it was mostly girls. So when you played at your friend's house, that your parents went to their friend's house and they had kids and they had girls, what did you play with? Well, I played with dolls. I just naturally, as I grew up and I hit puberty, now I align more as a female than I do as a male, because I did more female stuff than men's stuff. It's not every case.
Now I got
You know
somebody
what
in the
is-
comments stating, Hammer, I think it is, stating that it's all taught behavior. Do you believe all? Because you're mentioning, you know, what was your childhood like? Do you so you don't believe you could naturally be born feeling like you're in the wrong body? You believe it has to come from some kind of stimuli
It comes
in your
from
life.
something. And I wouldn't discredit the tot. You know, I'm not going to say that they're wrong in that, or that they're right. You know, you can accidentally lead your son to be more feminine. You can accidentally lead my daughters. You know, all the boys.
So they can't be born this way, though.
But they are more manly. They're more manly than most of their boys. Both my older daughters, my younger daughter knows how to change tires. They know how to change oil. They know how to change brakes. They do man shit. But they love women. The women love the men.
But
you know,
so they
it's
can't
understanding.
Right. But you're saying a person can't be born that way.
I don't believe so.
What about gay? Can they be born gay?
I think that's an over sexualization. You know, that comes, a lot of that comes from the videos we're watching. That comes a lot of it from the TV shows where it's not necessarily promoting it, but it's bringing it to light.
So can they be born? Can you be born gay from the time you're 4 or 5 years old? You already know you're attracted to the same sex.
I've already stated, Tim. I don't believe that you can be born with what's said to be gay, lesbian, transgender. I don't believe that's something that you come out of your mom and, you know, you're panicking for the first 8 years because you can't, or the first 3 years because you can't really talk, you can't really walk, you can't do shit, but you feel like a girl in a boy's body. That's not a case. I don't believe that for 1 second.
So you do. So essentially, you believe the entire LGBT community has developed that from some outside
88%.
influence.
88% have been abused.
Damn.
In one way, shape, or form. I didn't believe it either. I heard somebody talking about it. I do what I do on your live streams. I'd hop off and I go and I Google and I find the shit, and it was like 82, maybe it was 83%. It's either 83 or 88% of the LGBT community that was polled.
I bet a lot of that abuse is. I bet a lot of that abuse is coming from homophobic parents and family members that don't want them to change. I disagree. I do believe
that's fine.
I'll tell you why I disagree. You can be born with 10 toes on each feet. You can be born Siamese twins connected to another person, or 3 eyes in your head. I don't know why people believe sexuality-wise you should be born perfect. Every other portion of human development can be born different than what we consider as norm. Why can't that?
Do you believe people are born to be serial killers?
I believe they can be born with a mental defect.
Yes. Well, see, now my wife believes that they can be born to be serial killers. But I believe that she believes it for the same reason you do, because they were born with a mental deficiency.
Well, like I said, I mean, if you can
be... So why, let me ask you this. If you can crave killing people, or unaliving people, I'm sorry, TikTok, this is just an opinion. If you can be born craving to unalive people, eat people, whatever comes along with that serial source, and that's naturally right now.
Hold on. Before you continue, I want to read this out. Before you continue, this is kind of crazy. Jim said I was born wanting to be a Tyrannosaurus when I was 9. Can y'all accommodate that? He wants to identify as a dinosaur. Okay, so go ahead.
So what I'm saying is, if you can automatically say that somebody that was born to unalive somebody, or has grown up to unalive somebody, was born that way, but with a mental deficiency, that's a direct correlation.
I think the born to unalive thing is exceptionally rare.
That the gay, trans, and all that, and God bless them all. I'll say that vehemently. And anybody that disrespects anybody, gay, trans, or any, in a derogatory way, is trying.
So you, in other words, even though you feel it's a mental defect, do you believe in, some folks trying to rehabilitate them by sending them to classes and things like that, or sending them to mental health facilities?
Do I think that stuff would work?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it?
So you think if a man is gay, you can send him to some type of mental health facility and possibly make him straight?
Tim, we have 18-year-old kids that come out of high school playing with basketballs and footballs and G.I. Joes and Roblox and Minecraft and all this shit, and we turn them into soldiers. We turn soft men into valiant men all of the time. I mean, I'm not saying that there might not be a piece of them that still wants that lifestyle. I'm just saying that everything in life is corrected if you have time to correct it. I'm not saying that it's right. I don't think that conversion therapy is something that should be pushed on anybody. I don't believe for a second that conversion therapy is healthy if it's pushed at all.
I don't think.
But what I'm saying is
I don't think it works,
Julio.
Julio.
You can absolutely change somebody's mind. You can absolutely change somebody's mind.
So if I sent you to, now you're a straight male. If I sent you to some doctor, he could make you start wanting dick. You think that I could change your mind and make you start favoring dick? That don't sound right.
Do yourself a sick favor, and go and do a poll on the prisoners that have spent more than 20 years in jail, 10 years in jail, and see how many of them prefer anal sex or want anal play afterwards.
Well, you're talking about somebody who's...
It's a learned behavior. It's learned behavior.
All right, that's depressing. All right, Julio, I gotta move it on. I gotta go.
And like I said, Tim, if you were any of the letters, any of the rainbow, but in person on here, I'd treat you with respect. I would state my opinion and allow you to have your opinion and your perspective, because that's important to me. I'm just gonna feed you my best case and my best defense on what I'm saying. That's all.
Shit, you don't fed me enough. I gotta go, DJ. You depressed my whole audience. Always a pleasure, though. Thank you for coming through. Support as always. Yes. Certainly. Talk to you later. All right, folks. I do appreciate the 174,000. Wow, I didn't think it would get that high. Some of you guys really showed the progress of love. I see the old JD Vance addressment. Co-op 79 says, weird. It's not learned behavior, you're clueless. I don't think it's learned behavior, which is what I was telling my last guest, but a lot of folks agree with him. They do believe it's learned behavior. I think history has kind of told us, if I give my opinion, I believe history has told us it's not learned behavior. I think what happens is, because he said if you send them for I won't say training, but you send them to a facility, it can change their thought process. I think for the most part, they're just being shamed. I think there's a lot of gay people on this planet throughout history that maintain a straight heterosexual relationship to please society, to please their family, maybe please their father when they didn't like what they were. I mean, can you imagine if society wanted you to be gay, but you're straight? And to please your dad or your mom or your cleric, you just decided to hang out with people of the same sex because that's what you felt everybody. Can you imagine how awful that would be, your sex life and shit like that? It's got to be horrible. I mean, I can see why some of them folks may, as TikTok would require you say, unalive themselves. I mean, shit, if I lived in a society where I had to be gay to please the society, otherwise, people look at me like I'm a freak of nature. I have to be gay because this is the norm. Even though I know I'm heterosexual inside, I got to go get with dudes because that's what society expects me to do. And then I, follow my mom and dad's wishes or the wishes of my, my village or whatever. And I'm with a guy and that guy's horny and he wants to be with me. And I don't want nothing to do with it. Man, that's got to be bad. God damn, that's got to be horrible. I hate to even think about it. I can certainly see people offing themselves under that condition. I can really see that. I just want to run away from this village and never come back. I can certainly see that. Anyhow, 176,000, you guys know what we do. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. We're here Monday through Friday. Uncensored commentary, uncensored dialogue. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with QAnon. Follow the program on TikTok, a subscription on YouTube if you will. Until then, I gotta go. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Catch you tomorrow. Thank you also on YouTube. Everyone, whether they want to admit it or not, are attracted to the same sex, but won't admit it. Some choose to completely go that way, through which is, I don't know if everybody is. I get your point though. It may be some. You should call it curious or something. I believe there may be some of that. But that's, yeah, and I do believe you when you say people don't want to admit it. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. See you tomorrow.